Stand by to launch FanStream Sports.
3, 2, 1. Let's start.
Hello, sports fans. Welcome to FanStream Sports. Nothing but pure sports. This is the JP Show.
JP, it is so good to hear you back on the air.
Stand by. Now, here's JP.
All right, welcome in to Game Day Monday. Not a bitch and moan Monday, not a victory Monday. It's Game Day Monday, baby, for the playoffs. Man, this is going to be one for the ages, folks. No question about it. Here comes the Dallas Cowboys. How about them Cowboys? Tom Brady, the greatest to ever play it. I mean, it's almost a little bit surreal here as we sit here on a Monday morning after a super wild card weekend that has just been absolutely bananas that we're going to get into today. And we sit here and we're getting ready for a game tonight that is, almost historic as you look at it before it's even played. It's one of those games where you think, wow, like this is really happening. And we're going to be looking back on this, maybe 10, 20, 30, 40 years from now and saying, oh, wow, remember that game, Tom Brady, it was his last game as a Buccaneer, or it was this amazing playoff game where the Bucs were outmanned and outgunned, and somehow he willed his way to a last-second win. And you're going to say, man, I was there. I was there for that one. That's what it could be tonight. That has all the ingredients for a historical performance tonight. And we'll see what happens. Just say good morning to my good friend Nick Geddes from Outsider.com. How are you, my friend?
I'm pumped up. I'm pumped up for this one. LFG, baby. LFG today.
I'm wearing the shield today.
On a Monday.
Trying to be very,
I know you got a Super Bowl logo, a little
very
NFL
objective.
thing.
Yeah, I was trying. No homerism today.
I'm going full homer today.
I got you. You got your Bucs.
Full homer
That's
today.
Okay.
I
was considering wearing the Brady jersey, but I thought it might be a little too hokey. I was thinking about it, but I was like, it might be his last game here. So I don't know. I really think I think this game has a lot to do with whether he stays or goes. Am I crazy?
I don't know. I mean, I'm not even in the mindset to think about it, but it's, all I know is like you kind of set the scene right there. The NFL script writers have been working overtime this year.
God,
they've been working overtime. They were working overtime this past weekend. And all I need is one more beautiful script. And no, it does not involve the Dallas Cowboys getting their first career win over Thomas Edward Patrick Brady Jr.
Of course, that could be a storyline as well. The Cowboys are the biggest draw in football. Let's just be honest. But so is Tom Brady. He's a pretty damn big draw himself. The ratings tonight should be off the freaking charts.
Off the charts.
Off the freaking charts. You knew when it was a Dallas Tampa Bay matchup that it was going to be, I knew that was going to be the Monday night primetime game. And now here it is at Raymond James Stadium. Been watching all the coverage over the weekend, and they're already reporters are on site. Jane Slater and Sarah Walsh are over there reporting for the NFL the NFL Network. I mean, everybody's here. It's Sal Pao's flying in this morning from Minnesota. He said he's going to try to join us at some point during the show today. We got Brady Tinker from DFW Sports. Dallas will update us on the injuries going on with Dallas and how the Cowboys are going to play. The Cowboys are in town. They're here. It's just this is hype. I'm ready to go. Let's go.
I'm sorry, but just because Jordan just said right here, you look like an NFL scriptwriter wearing that shirt, and I'm just thinking, you're just giving me too many Rob Lowe vibes in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
What, 3 years ago?
Mm-hmm.
I think you should have gone jersey.
I just can't.
I think you should have gone jersey.
Trying to be objective today. I don't want to be a homer because I gave my pick on Friday. I think the Cowboys are going to win this one 27-17, maybe 27-24, maybe a little bit closer than that. I just. When you look at the X's and O's of this game, it's and you don't expect the Bucs coaching staff to come up with some brilliant game plan tonight that's going to, break them out of their offensive malaise that they've been in for the entire season. I mean, that just doesn't make sense. That's not handicapping. That's not analysis. Hope is not a strategy or an analysis. And I'm just looking for answers on how the Bucs win this game. Now, so many people point to how bad that the Cowboys played this last week against the Commodes. Again, it was one of those weird games where it's not going to mean anything. And, Washington wants to come out and beat the Cowboys. The Cowboys always get your best shot. It's just one of those weird games. So I'm not going to put a lot into that. It tells me more than anything they were looking ahead to this week So you know that you're going to get the best of the Cowboys. And they're, as Rex Ryan said on Get Up this morning, they're just a much more talented team than the Buccaneers. But here's, when you talk about the script writers, here's this X factor of Ryan Jensen coming back. And I firmly believe that he will be activated before 4 o'clock today, which is the deadline. If for one simple reason, they need him. They need him. They got to have him because right now, Nick Leverett is a no-go. I mean, he did not practice on Friday or I think that walked through on Saturday. He's got a shoulder issue and a knee issue. DeMolchin is also hurt with an ankle. Your two backup centers are hurt. Your primary center is hurt. If Ryan Jensen was 25%, they might say, dude, you got to suit up today. But I've been told he's 85%. I think he definitely dresses tonight, and I think there's a pretty damn good chance he plays. And that is going to be the X factor because, number one, it could be a disaster. As much football as Ryan Jensen has played in his career, he has not played in a year. He has not felt the weight of an NFL regular season game for a year. And this is the playoffs. This is the freaking playoffs where the energy and the ferocity dials up even more. And I don't even if you're one of the best centers in the game, Ryan Jensen, coming back to that. Because think about this, they haven't really been doing any contact in practice because most of those padded practices have been used up. They only get 20, I think. So it's not like now. I don't know. I don't know if they're even allowed to do this, but I'm sure Ryan Jensen would want to get padded up and knock heads with somebody, and just to get the feel back again. It certainly doesn't want to go out there cold tonight. I don't even know if they're allowed to do that. Maybe they have to do it in secret. Who knows? But that's an awful big challenge. And to ask him to go 65, 70 plays. Now, obviously it's going to be cool tonight, which is a great thing for him because you won't get, at least worn out from the heat, which is another whole deal. So at least that he's got that going for him. But I think he has to play tonight. How about that?
Well, the alternative is Luke Gedeke going right back to left guard.
Oh my God.
Is that the alternative?
Yeah.
Again, all respect to Luke Gedeke. I don't think it'll be the same thing like 2 years ago when Alex Kappa got hurt.
Yeah.
And we put Aaron Stinney in there, and Aaron Stinney was awesome. We didn't miss a beat.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be the same effect if Luke Gedeke's in there.
Well, Gedeke's got to be better just by the whole season long. He played right tackle last week. And one of the main things that I've seen already from him is he always, he loves that reputation of playing to the echo of the whistle. And he should have got a penalty a couple of weeks ago in a key spot.
Yeah.
And he didn't. If he doesn't need to be out there picking fights tonight, if he plays, son, do not get a stupid personal foul call because it cost your team the game.
Yeah, because I seriously think this, and I'm sure you would agree with me. If Luke Gedeke has to play left guard, I think that right there could be the storyline of the game.
Absolutely,
that's the storyline of the game is the interior pressure.
Yeah.
If Luke Gedeke, if we see the Luke Gedeke that we saw the first 6 weeks of the season,
we're done.
Toast.
Yeah.
Barring the defense holding Dallas to like 6 points or something like that, you're toast.
Yeah, and they're going to target him right away if he's in there. They're going to target him right away for A-gap blitzes, and they're going to, and Hainsey also is injured. I mean, he's got a hamstring injury. How long can he go tonight?
Yeah, there's not many. Like you said, everybody that can snap a football right now seems to be dealing with something.
Yeah, and let's just be honest here. Donovan Smith hasn't played in a couple weeks and has a bad foot. That could be good or bad, right? Tristan Wirfs, at least they're rested, which is good. But also it also means that you're injured and you don't know how it's going to react. So I think Tristan Wirfs will be fine.
I think that guy at 50%, even 50%, I think that guy's fine.
Who's Tristan?
Tristan Wirfs.
Absolutely. But you go across the offensive line, you got issues, right? Even when these guys are healthy, they're not. I'm not going to say they're bad because I think they've been better than a lot of people have maligned them for this year. But it causes Brady to get the ball out quick, and he needs to trust his protection. He needs to have protection tonight to get the ball downfield. They got to be at their best. Again, we're asking things to happen here. I want to be as hopeful as all of you, but again, this is a banged up offensive line. We're asking a center to may have to go 70 snaps on. He hasn't played in a year. Donovan Smith still got a bad elbow from Michael Parsons ran through him in week 1. He's got a bad foot. Wirfs is, now we got a new left. Okay. And this is the third best pass rush unit coming in here. I mean, I'm just trying to be objective here. And what is the one thing that Brady can't handle? It's all that pressure.
But I think, though, in the playoffs, he does a damn good job. There's a reason why he's got the record he does in the postseason, because he handles the pressure better than anybody.
Yeah,
better than anybody.
I don't mean like the mental pressure and the emotional pressure. I'm talking about
I mean
pressure.
it with the actual pressure. That's what I mean, because we talked about it last week. The protection was not great for large portions of that Rams game, and he stood in there. Yeah. He took hits. I think he's going to do it.
But the offense was horrible for 3 quarters.
True, but I think at this point, though, in his career, especially not knowing what the next week, the next day is going to hold. I mean, he could lose today, and tomorrow, who knows, it could be over. Yeah. He doesn't know. I think he knows that he's going to stand in there, and if he has to take some licks tonight, he's going to.
Oh, yeah, he will. He will. And that's a difference maker. That's been a difference maker. We've seen that. So, it's going to be a hell of a fun time watching. I hope it's not a situation where Brady is under so much duress that he can't play. And that'll just be bad and boring and ugly.
Like, you mean like he can't? What do you mean by can't play?
I mean he can't throw the ball downfield.
Like it looks like we saw in some of these other games.
Yeah, the pocket just collapses, and he's not running anywhere. It's just we've seen these games, and it gets really, really ugly. And I hope that doesn't happen tonight, because at least it would be fun just to see a shootout of him and Dak going back and forth.
I want them to come right out. I want them to go guns a-blazing right away.
Right.
I want to see a deep shot. If they want to throw a deep shot on the first play of the game, I'm all for it. I want you to send a message right away. Because you've been talking about maybe the Cowboys are a more talented team.
Yeah.
I don't know if I necessarily see it that way. And I think this offense, we still got players on this offense. We've talked about the ones that have been coming along. We got some health here. This is as healthy as this team has been. Go out there and take some shots right away.
Yeah.
If you start the game with like a run up the middle or something, that's not setting the tone.
No.
That's not setting the tone. Setting the tone is taking a deep shot early. And if I'm Byron Leftwich, I'm dialing that up right away.
Well, and I swear I didn't see this before I said he's going to play tonight. I guarantee it. 2 minutes ago, Ryan Jensen activated from injured reserve from the Buccaneers.
There we go.
Scott Smith just put it out there. Ryan Jensen, Tampa Bay Buccaneers Pro Bowl center, is back in action on Monday. The Buccaneers activated Jensen from their injured reserve list, making him eligible to play later this evening. And the team's wild card, blah, 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 blah. The 50-man lead, the Bucs waived inside linebacker J.J. Russell. Oh,
sorry, JJ.
Jensen has been designated for return from IR on December 28th. So blah, 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 blah. He's the 5th player the Buccaneers have brought back from injured reserve this season following the activations of tackle Josh Well. Blah, 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 blah. Doesn't really matter. Jensen suffered a knee injury on the second day of training camp. The swelling is still there. No, I'm just kidding. I don't see there's any other pertinent information in here. This is all just background information. Okay, so there you go. Ryan Jensen activated.
Well, then screw everything we said about Luke Gedeke. Big Red is back. Are you not excited now? I got goosebumps now.
I am.
I have goosebumps about a center returning, for crying out loud.
Is this the biggest hoopla we've ever gone through for a center?
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. I mean, it's such a crucial position. There's no question about it, obviously. But, but, okay, he's activated. That doesn't mean he's going to play or in the starting lineup, but
he's going to be in the starting lineup.
We didn't go through all this.
We didn't go through all this for this Look at that. Peter Schrager says he will start tonight.
Oh, he said he's starting tonight.
That's what Peter Schrager says right here.
He will start tonight. It's at center.
Yep.
So Hainsey goes to left guard.
You would assume.
Well, I hate to say this, but we've been talking about this for a couple of months now. That he's going to return, and I would have liked to have seen him play a little bit in the Atlanta game, but whatever. He's back, and he's starting tonight at center. Wow, what an emotional lift.
I think this changes so many things. One player, to me, changes so much of the game plan, in my opinion, and what you can do. And the fact that he's been getting first-team reps in practice, I have to think they've been trying to do new – who knows what we're going to see tonight. Well, now I'm really optimistic. I don't know if I'm getting too optimistic, but I feel a lot more optimistic now.
Maybe I'll change my pick now.
I think you need to run home and get your jersey.
Well, that's not happening. But wow, that's I mean, you were asking. We've been talking about this. I came in here this morning. I'm like, he's going to suit up tonight.
We've been talking about this. Like, where's the juice around town for this game?
There's the juice.
I mean, I almost feel everything's already changed now with this announcement.
There's the juice.
It's there.
And that's going to be a centerpiece of the of the broadcast tonight too. Here comes. I just feel like it's who is that guy? I think it was. I'm trying to remember in Braveheart. Wasn't there a big redheaded guy with a beard that was like his right hand man?
I think so.
That was like that guy that was like his protector. That's what. That's what kind of feel like that's who it is for Brady, right?
Oh.
He's just that dude, that big redheaded, strong son of a bitch that's just going to start throwing people around when shit goes down. That's hey, you know what? This is what the NFL loves, right? They love these great scripts, and so we're here to write it. I listen. That's going to be fun to watch. I hope that Jensen. Well, he's going to bring the energy. He's going to bring that positivity. And bring that fire. And it's something that this team has been missing. We've been talking about that all year long, just that lack of emotion, that lack of just energy out there on the field, especially on offense for so much of the time. So here we go, brother. Here we go.
By the way, just want to put this here too, because we've been trying to figure out what his injury actually was. This is from Carmen Vitale.
Yeah,
who used to work for the team.
Bucs, yeah.
She said right here, Jensen partially tore multiple ligaments in his knee, including his ACL at the start of training camp. Absolutely insane recovery.
Yeah, and I've been told by somebody who's really close to him, and I've told you guys this before, that they've been, and it's common sense really, that they've been using stem cells to actually reactivate all of those ligaments and tendons and rebuild them. And that's what stem cells does. It literally repairs the tendons. And, I had that done to my knees 4 or 5 years ago. It's just fantastic. I had great success with stem cells, and the success they're having with injuries and just, general medicine. It's groundbreaking stuff. And he will be the first person, as far as I know, that will come back from an injury like this just with stem cell therapy.
And how long are we at here? Was it 6 months, basically?
About 6.
A little over 6 months?
It was July, yeah. So late July.
What a freak.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's and it's going to be, I think doctors and trainers are going to be paying great attention to this, because if you can come back from that in 6 months, and
yeah, because that's like a
without surgery,
you'd call that like a partially torn ACL, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And and there's always different grades of everything, right? And there's only one way, and normally they go in there and they take it out and they put a cadaver in there. Like, that's what I had an ACL done as well, but this is back in the 90s. And I think it's pretty much the same surgery they do now, is they get a cadaver tendon and they replace it and put it in there. And then it has to heal, and it adhere to the bones and all those other things that need to be done. But that just takes time. But stem cells rapidly increases the healing time. That's what they do. So it's going to be very interesting when he finally has a chance, and he'll be talking about it after the game today. Oof. So that'll be interesting to hear about that. And let's hope it's all from a winning locker room, and there's joy in Mudville tonight, and Tom Brady will not strike out. Tom Brady will continue to play for the Buccaneers. Now, not to get ahead of ourselves, but if they win, you get a free first class ticket to San Francisco, to an ass kicking in San Francisco.
I'm not. We'll have to cross that bridge if we get there. But
whatever, we'll be happy to do it.
Hey, win tonight, because the most mind-boggling stat of the day is, if they win tonight, this will be the 6th playoff win for the Buccaneers since Tom Brady got here. Before he got here, the first 40-something years, they had 6 playoff wins.
Yeah.
So again, Bucs fans, we've been trying to say, I think lost in maybe the criticisms that we've had of this team this year, is that this is still a special run for this franchise, and don't take it for granted. Don't take it for granted.
Hell no.
These last 3 seasons.
Hell no.
So
this has been historic.
So let's go tonight.
And like I said, this is, now you add another chapter to be, when I'm sitting in the rocking chair 20 years from now. Yeah, we got that playoff game where Big Red Ryan Jensen came off injured and played the year and knocking people around. And then Brady came out and the last 2 minutes took him down the field for a game winner. Oh, it was the greatest thing ever.
I can feel it. I can feel it.
Yeah. Yeah. And then they went on to win the Super Bowl. Oh, no, I don't think so. But anyway, listen, 4th seed won last year, right?
Mm-hmm.
They weren't 8 and 9, but
the Bucs were a wild card team when they won 2 years.
That's right. Yeah. A couple. We're gonna get to. By the way, Brady talked on Friday, so we'll play a little bit of that here coming up in just a second. He's very businesslike. Very businesslike. Jordan is Gamillion here. I'll put up some of our comments from our listeners. Come on, JP, jersey up. You look like an NFL scriptwriter wearing that. I'm trying to be objective today, man. I'm trying to be objective. It can't be all homerish. Leo says, I want to laugh for 1 second. Yesterday, DOA Kleiman was tweeting how the Raiders are going to aggressively pursue Tom Brady. A couple minutes later, Insider says he's most likely coming back to the Bucs. I've seen all of it. It's not the day to really talk about this because questions like that will end press conferences. I have proof. Do you guys see the people lined up outside the convention center at 2 a.m. in the freezing cold just to see Stephen A. Smith spew nonsense and bad takes? I didn't know they were out there at 2 o'clock in the morning in this freezing weather. What's wrong with you people?
I did that for College Game Day.
Yeah.
Why the hell would I do that for First Take? Although, by the way, Stephen A. is firmly on Team Tampa Bay.
Well, of course he is.
So
he hates it. Yeah, I'm sure they're having some fun down there with that. Jensen coming back adds more than just depth. It adds emotion, trust coming back. Absolutely.
I got a question, though, because I'm seeing some people bring this up on again, it's Twitter, but I'm just, for sake of conversation, would you keep Hainsey at center and put Jensen at left guard because you don't want Hainsey to have to play a different position in the playoffs that he has never played before?
These are all things that are, I try to give educated guesses on things like this and informed guesses, but this is stuff that's completely proprietary to the coaching staff. There's things about.
I was just going to take it back, actually, because I'm seeing this here from Rick Stroud. This just came 15 seconds ago. He says they're actually thinking of starting Luke Gedeke rather than slide Robert Hainsey over. Hainsey is nursing a hamstring injury, has not played a snap at guard this season.
Yeah. Yeah, because you're basically having two new people in there, if you and don't forget Jensen played guard at Baltimore. So he's and of course if you're Jensen, everything the left guard does. The assignments.
And I was gonna say, because of the way he plays that role where he kind of like looks for like to take out that guy and everything and help out the left guard or the right guard. I'm not saying I feel comfortable necessarily still with Luke Gedeke at left guard, but I feel a little bit better that Jensen's there because I feel like that's kind of his role, right?
Yeah, I think our best lineup tonight would be Jensen at left guard, and if Hainsey can play. But we don't. That's the other thing. We don't know how severe these injuries are.
Yeah, if he's saying he's still nursing the hamstring injury, this might be a scenario where he just might not even be ready to go at all.
Right. So these are all things we don't know. And to say, which would be a better alignment when you don't, I need to know how healthy is this guy? How healthy is that guy?
This is going to be fluid all day, it seems like.
So, I would, but I think your initial feeling of why have two new players when you just need to have one, right? And the fact that Jensen has played guard in the NFL, I think makes it much more palatable.
Yeah.
Because, even, Jensen can still help out with line calls and things like that, even as a left guard. So just having him in there and his presence and him being able to pick up different blitzers, because I really have a feeling that the Dallas is going to come after Brady tonight. I think they're going to come after him early, and I think they're going to try to get him rattled early on. I really do. I think that to the point where they'll give up some deep shots just to get some shots on Brady early on, because that's the whole game. If that's what I would do. No question about it, because you got an explosive offense. The Cowboys are going to put up points tonight. They are. As much as we love our defense, it has struggled against good teams. And
they didn't struggle against that team, though.
Yeah, it did not. No, not in week one. But they also had Shaq Barrett back then, and there wasn't a whole lot of new tape on this particular group. So I don't want to downplay the performance. They kicked their ass. There's no question about it. They kicked their ass. And it was more dominant than the 19-3 win. But I think, again, both of these teams are very, very different from that point. Very, very different. So I don't think you could take some matchup stuff from there, and again, Brady was under duress a lot, and he only threw the ball, I think, 29 times, or they called it because he had a couple of sacks, but he dropped back 29 times and was pressured 9 times. So 31%. And I don't expect that number to change a whole lot. I would expect it to go up because of the uncertainty of this offensive line. And if that goes up, it's a tough night. That's how you really have to look at it. But if you hit a couple of shots, deep shots, keeps you in the game. So let's hear from Brady now. Brady talked on Friday, so we haven't really heard too much from him. But I think more than anything else you take away from this is he is freaking locked in. Like that's a big surprise. It's not.
Who wants to start? Tom, in terms of the team's health, you talked a little bit Monday just about how you felt maybe the healthiest they've been this season. How much of a boost in terms of confidence is it to have kind of a full slate of guys out there with you?
I think you'd like to play, these games as healthy as possible. So it's hard to say after 17 games, but you never know how it's going to play out. There's years where I've been a part of it where we've been very healthy, other years where we haven't. So we obviously feel pretty good about where we're at. So that's good.
This is a week of taking snaps from Ryan Jensen too, by the way.
Something that you've turned to a lot this year. In a situation like this, where you guys are the home underdog, you're the home underdog in the playoffs for the first time in your career, how much can you lean on something like that when you're trying to kind of tune out all that external noise?
Yeah, I don't, they're going to make those, decisions, and we got to go out there and play well. So it's not really who, is favored or not favored. It's who plays the best. So, yeah, I never really paid attention to those things. I just try to go play the best I can.
Tom, you said after the game that, like, all right, there's no more second chances. This is it now. Do you have to tell any of the guys on the team? Do they understand it? Do you think even some guys that have not been in this situation before?
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of urgency naturally this week. Everyone knows what we're playing for. You're playing for a chance to move on. So there's no, we were close, or it was almost there, or, 2 more plays. And, look at, 2 seasons ago when we end up, winning it all, there was a lot of really close plays. Last year, it comes down to, plays at the end of the game that, they made and we didn't. So, you're going to have to make the plays at the end. And it's tough because there's good teams and there's a little margin of error. And all these teams are well coached. They got good offenses, good defenses. They got a lot of good playmakers. Those are the best teams that are playing right now, and you got to play good if you want to advance.
Tom, speaking to what you just said about you have to make the plays at the end, how well would you say this team is poised to do that, given the way that you've been able to win multiple games at the end this year? It feels like this team is really tested on that front of things. Yeah,
I think we've been. Yeah, and I think there's been quite a few of those situations where they've come up and we've executed well and won. There's other times where we've executed pretty well and then missed a couple 2-point conversions, like in Green Bay and Pittsburgh. And then there's some where we didn't execute well. So, yeah, hopefully it's one of those games where hopefully it doesn't come down to that. But if it does, I think we have confidence we can pull it out. I'm sure they have confidence too. They're a good football team. They're really well coached, got really good offense. We played them now multiple times, once this year, once last year. So I think we know what we're dealing with, and they're very, very good with very good players, very good playmakers on both sides of the ball.
Tom, you've got 35 postseason wins, 35. Next guy on the list is Montana, 16. So, Tom, when all is said and done, you look back at your career in 10 years, where's that accomplishment going to rank for you?
Yeah, I think for me, it's just it's a blessing for me to, have those type of memories and experiences. I've been very blessed to be a part of great teams that got to this point and then had a lot of big wins. And it's who everyone wants to play for. They want to play in the playoffs. I'm sure you guys we feel it too. So, you get more texts this week. You get more people wanting to come to the game. You get more people paying attention. So, you want to come through.
You're willing to do whatever it takes to win, right? Run the ball, throw the ball. If you scripted it, it probably wouldn't be a team that averaged less than 80 yards a game rushing, right? And so you've thrown even more passes than you did last year. How much of a lift was it this year for you to have to, be that involved in the pass game and not have balance and sort of, make this what it became?
Well, I think we're just, every week trying to figure out different ways to, I've always said it just comes down to scoring points and how do you put yourself in a position to score points. So if you've got to run it, great. I've been a part of a lot of those games. If you need to throw it a lot, because that's what the situation calls for. It's for one reason or another, it's just the way the year went. But, you got to stay balanced and you got to run the ball well. I thought one thing we did really well against the first time we played was we ran the ball really well. And that alleviated a lot of pressure from the passing game. And I think the teams that are playing well now do run the ball pretty well. And, we're going to have to do it. But they got some good players. They got some very athletic linebackers, obviously a very good D-line. So it's tough. It's going to be a big challenge.
I want to stop there real quick because we didn't even really mention that when we just announced that Jensen's coming back, is the impact in the run game.
Yeah.
And being able to run the football. Now I always say, like, if your philosophy is we have to run the football, we have to do it efficiently in order to win a playoff game. I don't know if I agree with that in 2023, but by no means am I saying I want Tom Brady to throw the ball 60 times.
Yeah.
And if there's one thing that we know, when Ryan Jensen was there at that center position, and I know there were other pieces there, they could run the football pretty well. And I'm just looking at a scenario where if you have Jensen at center, we know what Shaq Mason can give you, who's the only fully healthy body on the line.
Yeah.
And then Tristan Wirfs. I mean, that's a pretty good, outlet to run through in this game if you want to try to keep doing that power football style with the running game.
Oh, it'll definitely change it. I mean, you put an all-pro center in there who's known for moving people. I mean, that's the thing about run football. You got to be big and strong enough to be able to move people, especially in the, the boring ass scheme that we run. There's not a whole lot of misdirection going on in this where we're fooling people, and defensive linemen or, kind of have to be more guarded about which way they're going. It's, guys line up and they know where the run game's coming, and it's kind of mano-a-mano. And we just have not been able to push people this year.
Yeah.
And that's why I think the running game has suffered more than anything. So, maybe they get a little bit more creative. We've seen some moments of that. We saw reverse to Devin Tompkins, some jet sweeps. And
they've been starting to get guys in space a little bit, like these linemen, and let them get out a little bit to the sides and everything. Yeah,
which is, and again, you can do that when guys are healthy, but this line is not healthy. You can't really ask, Tristan Wirfs and Donnie Smith to be on the run when they're just, they're having issues with their feet, especially their lower legs. So,
and I've almost been marinating it on here. This whole news that Luke Gedeke seems like the favorite to go to left guard. The more I sit here and think about it, I was just,
that's a disaster.
That seems like a bit. There you go.
Yeah.
That just seems a bit asinine, does it not? To even put that guy anywhere near like a playoff game, because we can't do the game where he gets the first 10 snaps, he gets blown off the ball in 5 of them, and then we're like, all right, we got to pull you.
But again, we don't know the severity of these injuries.
I know you might be forced into just having to play him because he's a healthy body, but I'm saying
Leverett hurt his shoulder like 3-4 weeks ago.
Nick Leverett was doubtful, so I don't think he's playing.
Yeah, which is okay. So now we're down.
And I already mentioned, Hainsey, there's a risk because he hasn't played left guard all season.
Right.
I get all that. It's just,
again, we're all excited that Jensen's coming back, but it's like, I don't want to be this guy, but it's like, okay, he hasn't played in a year. Okay, he hasn't played in a year. This is the effing playoffs. Luke Gedeke is not good. Leverett is hurt. Mulchin is hurt. Hainsey is hurt. Like, yay, playoff. Woo. Think about it. This is an offensive line that we got Jensen. I mean, it's not so much that, hey, Ryan Jensen's coming back. It's like, come on, man, you got to go. It's like we got nobody else.
Yeah.
I know you haven't played in a year, but let's go.
Yeah, it's just I hadn't kind of gone there yet that Luke Gedeke would probably still be playing in this game.
Mm-hmm.
And 1 weak link like that throws off the entire operation. It really does.
Of course it does.
And that's still my
Dan
concern.
Quinn is a hell of a defensive coordinator. Dan Quinn is licking his chops at this offensive line right now. He's got a lot of athletic guys on that front. This guy, Chauncey Golston, has just started. He had 11 tackles last week.
Yep.
He's just coming on, this young kid, 6'5", 280 pounds, but that's just a weird, kind of size for a defensive lineman. He's quick off the ball. What does he do? How is he used? Micah Parsons has been beat up, but he said, I'm coming for the playoffs.
I think he just had a kid too, so he's got the dad strength coming in.
2 nights ago. I know. I was like, hey, take your time with your baby, please. Stay at home. You don't need to play this game, please. Stay with the mom. He's going to be jacked up.
Yeah, I don't want to.
I hate to just be the party pooper here, but we're talking about all these things about an offensive line, not because their strengths. It's because these guys are hurt.
Well,
and they're going up against a great ferocious pass rush.
Those points are all fair, and I'm not. I mean, listen, we made our picks last week, and I said 2013. I didn't predict that the Bucs were going to just magically flip a switch on offense.
Right.
I still think at the end of the day,
that's the only way they win this game. I think the only way they win this game is 17-14. And they get some turnovers from Dak.
I'm more. I don't know if I'm more optimistic about this. I don't know if I believe
14 with 5 field goals from Succo.
Yeah, none past 50.
0 for 5 from the red.
No
the red
50-yard plus attempts today, please, Todd. None.
I don't give a rat's ass how the Bucs win it. Just
I don't
go
care
win
either, but I still think like this defense. I know we haven't really gotten to we're talking so much offense, and I understand, but I don't want to discount how good this Bucs defense can be and has shown they can be. And against a team like this that is turnover prone and can get inside their own head, and a quarterback who I think everybody's a bit unsure of in these moments.
Absolutely.
I think this defense is licking their chops, honestly. The Bucs defense, that is. So I think there is a way they can win this game and not play great on offense.
I just think that they, in order to win tonight, they do need to run the football, and that's just to keep that pass rush honest. Because if they become one-dimensional and those guys don't have to worry about the run at all, it's just a bad scenario. We've seen it time and time again with this Bucs team. So that's the thing. I do think they need to run the football, and you can run the football on Dallas, so that's okay. But they got to be able to do it. And the other key thing for me is that for the Buccaneers is catch the interceptions that Dak throws you. He's going to throw you 2 or 3 picks tonight. And if you catch them, it's going to change the game. If you drop them, Carlton, Davis, Jamal Dean, and Antoine usually catches his.
Sean's always going to catch his.
Yeah, so it just catch the ball. Catch the freaking ball. You know, our linebackers have gotten hands on balls all years long, but they haven't been able to squeeze them as much as we. That did not come out right. Footballs, but yeah, that's another huge key to this game tonight. And of course, the Bucs have to stop the run. They have to stop the run, and I think Dallas is coming for that. I think they're going to try to bludgeon this Buccaneers defense. And when they've been healthy with Akeem and Vita Vea's got to be healthy. You know, he's been on and off the practice field as well. So there's a lot of, ifs and buts, candies and nuts, but I think it's going to be a fun game to watch. I think if Dallas plays the way they're capable of playing, it's going to be tough for the Bucs, and the Bucs are going to need some breaks tonight, but that's football. We saw it all weekend long.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I think this sounds like such the cliche answer whenever you have a quarterback that you don't kind of believe in, and a really good running game is make him beat you. But it's so true. Right. It's so true because I know Zeke Elliott seems like he's been refreshed lately. Has been playing really good. I know Pollard's going to be coming in here mostly rested because I think he sat out a game or two.
Yeah, and he really wasn't a presence in the first game.
And he wasn't a presence in the first game. He was great there during the middle part of the season when Zeke was out.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think Pollard to me is the X factor there on that offense, and they want to get him out. But again, we put the number out there, 6-1 when Vita Vea and Akeem Hicks play. Pollard likes to go to the outside. Well, for all the shortcomings that Devin White has in pass pro, and by the way, we haven't really seen those shortcomings recently. He's actually been really good the second half of the season. He's still damn good in the running department and getting to the boundary. We know what Levante David could do. Yep. So I just think that if that's the Cowboys' strength.
Having a really bad time setting the edge.
True.
All year long.
But I think Anthony Nelson's been doing a damn good job with what he's been being asked to do. But I just think you look at that. I think the Bucs' strength on defense is Dallas is on offense. So it's strength versus strength. And so at that point, I think that could be part of the big game and then make Dak beat you.
Yeah. Yeah,
I don't know.
No, I'll take that.
I'll take those odds.
That's your strategy if you're Todd Bowles. Absolutely.
And Todd, and listen, people know in this league, the Bucs know it. Everybody knows it. There is not too many DCs in this game that know how to scheme up a game plan to stop somebody than Todd Bowles.
Todd Bowles is so good.
Take the head coach part out of it, the game management.
No, he's a great.
He's still the defensive coordinator, and he's a damn good one at that.
Yeah. We might. I don't know what's the over under on the game tonight. It's still 2.5.
Still 2.5.
Still 2.5 is the line. The over under. Was it 42? I think it was. No, maybe it's more than that. But that I just don't see if the Bucs are going to win this game. It's got to be low scoring. I don't see them.
And I ultimately do think 2013. I sticking by that.
All right. I hope you're right. All right. We'll take our first break here, and when we come back, we'll get into a little bit of super wild card weekend. We are going to be joined by Brady Sinker in our second hour. And Chris Lugo is going to join us from Bay Area Modern Medical Center. We're going to talk a little bit about this Ryan Jensen injury and how people are healing with stem cells. And this is going to be a big story post this game, I would imagine. So we'll talk a little bit about that and some of the other injuries with Chris Lugo late in the show, 11:45. And Sal Paolantonio said he will give us a jingle when he lands from Minnesota. Lord knows with planes today, if that'll be today. So we hope to grab him at some point, too. Stay with us. We're brought to you by BAMMC.com, Bay Area Modern Medical Center, and the Jeeves Law Group, JEEVES lawgroup.com. Back at 3. Jeeves Law Group. I've known Scott Jeeves for quite some time, and he's just like us, a huge college football fan. He loves his Gators. In fact, he sponsors our Gator Report every Thursday at 11 o'clock with Scott Carter from FloridaGators.com. But he's not just another PI attorney. He is a ferocious advocate for his clients. Scott Jeeves is a board-certified civil trial lawyer and a certified circuit court mediator practicing in Tampa Bay for over 30 years. He is an AV preeminent rated civil trial lawyer and certified circuit court mediator. Folks, these designations are not just given out. They're given only to the best trial attorneys. But more than anything, Scott takes these cases personally. I've heard it from his clients. He's a fighter you want on your side. Insurance companies hate it when they see you're represented by Jeeves. He's just different. 727-894-2929 or go to JeevesLawGroup.com. That's JEEVES lawgroup.com and tell him JP sent you. Now is the time to make sure your home insurance is in order. In the last year, many of us have made improvements to our homes. So call the folks at Italiano and discuss these upgrades to make sure you have enough coverage. According to a recent report, almost 64% of homeowners don't have enough insurance on their home, which is their most valuable asset. Also, a great time to make sure you have flood insurance. Even if your mortgage company does not require flood insurance, your home could still be at flood risk. Another big item as we enter hurricane season is making sure your pool enclosure is added to your policy and there will be no issue at claim time. That happens a lot. So call your friendly agent at Italiano Insurance to review your policies today. 813-877-7799 or ItalianoInsurance.com. Attention, if you are home shopping or looking for a refinance, and even if you already have the approval letter, you must call my man Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services. Scott has a brand new program available in the greater Tampa Bay area called the Community Advantage Loan Program. Get this, no money down, no mortgage insurance, no points, no origination fee, purchase or refinance, and loan amounts up to $647,000. Now, there are some application requirements. It must be a single-family home, one unit, primary residence, and have a minimum 640 credit score. The program only applies to certain neighborhoods, so you have to call to find out if you qualify. So call Scott Fitzgerald at 813-294-7595 or email him at scott@amstampa.com. Now, even if you don't qualify for that program, Scott will shop your loan around, get you the best rates, and won't charge you the huge upfront fees. And if you've had issues with your bank calling you back, Scott will return calls immediately or at least the same day. 813-294-7595 or email him, scott@amstampa.com. Scott Fitzgerald, MLS 386722, American Mortgage Services, 1000 North Ashley Drive, Suite 1020, Tampa, Florida. Hey, folks, it's still engagement season, and where better to get that special ring than the Gold and Diamond Source. The Gold and Diamond Source has the largest selection of engagement rings in the country, a literal jewelry super center with 30 times the inventory of any normal jeweler. You don't have to wait to spend any extra time waiting for them to bring something in. They have everything right there in-house, so why go anywhere else? And you can get up to 15% off this January if you buy something with the birthstone, which is garnet. Garnet and gold, Florida State, get something for your favorite Seminole. And let's not forget the Emily collection from Emily Johnson Weintraub. Very affordable, real gold and diamond jewelry, always stylish and unique. Emily has created this fashion-forward gold, diamond, and gemstone jewelry line ideal for everyday wear. Each piece is designed to enhance your look by featuring eye-catching, modern geometrical shapes. Really unique stuff. Got to check it out. And, of course, Julie and Steve Weintraub, great benefactors here in the local community. So let's keep it local. And you can get 0% financing for up to 5 years. Get a big ring for a little price. It's the Golden Diamond Source, 3800 Omerton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com.
Coming back at you. Now, more with JP on FanStream Sports. It's only just begun.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show. We appreciate you guys jumping in here each and every day. You can watch us on our YouTube channel, of course, and also at fanstreamsports.com, and always on Twitter and Facebook as well. So subscribe to our YouTube page. It's a really easy way to watch us. And don't forget to download our app, FanStream Sports. Just download the app, tap the app, and you can listen to the show anytime right there on your phone or on your desktop as well. So lots of different ways to get the show. We really appreciate you guys jumping in. Last week when we had Ronnie Barber on, we had some huge numbers, and really appreciate you guys being part of the show. We really do. That's why we try to get all your comments on as much as we can. All right, in case you missed the news, Ryan Jensen activated for tonight and will start We have not seen. Evidently, somebody's talking to the media out there. I don't know who's talking, but somebody's doing a lot of talking to the media out there. And it's the word is he's going to start. We haven't heard whether it's going to be at center or left guard, but certainly a nice jolt for two ways to look at it. A great jolt for the Buccaneers, or they're forced to play a guy who hasn't played in a year because of all the other injuries. So we'll see. We'll see. Lots of interesting stuff to get into over the weekend. And let's start with, I think, the most intriguing situation, and that's in Baltimore, where yesterday the Ravens fell to the Cincinnati Bengals 24-17. And the big play in this game, Tyler Huntley, who played really, really well. I thought Tyler Huntley played really, really well. They're at the goal line, and he tries on third down to reach the ball over the top from probably a yard out, wasn't it? A yard out? At least it was too far. Frankly, for me.
Yeah.
Here's what it sounded like on CBS.
NBC.
Right around Huntley. He reaches. Oh, that ball's out. That's live. Back the other way. Sam Hubbard. The Cincinnati Kid. Hubbard's got a convoy. Chased by Andrews. At the 30. The 20. He will score.
Wow. No, Tyler, you did not get the ball over the goal line. No, you did not. Listen, if you're going to do that, you got to be damn sure you're going to get it in. And I just thought that was more hope and a prayer. I mean, guys were there. There was no real opening to do it. You can't do that. And J.K. Dobbins, who has been healthy for the first time in forever for him, who scored a great touchdown and willed his way into the end zone, was kind of pissed that he didn't get the call in that situation.
And I have to agree with them.
I have to agree with them as well.
To me,
they were bullying the Bengals on the power running game.
They were, and I think he got 13 touches in this entire game. That's not enough.
That's not enough
for a team that is.
We got a backup quarterback in there. No,
for a team that is so built on running the football. Like, again, all respect to Gus Edwards, but why is Gus Edwards getting the same amount of touches as J.K. Dobbins? Why?
That's stupid.
That's lunacy.
That's stupid.
And J.K. Dobbins, after the game, I mean, you mentioned that he wanted the ball there. He also said, if we had Lamar, we would have won.
Yeah,
we would have won this game, and that's it. That's the underlying theme here.
I don't know if that's a shot at Lamar. I saw people, like I think it was RG3 saying, put a brace on it. Let's go. You're 3 wins away.
No, not RG3. RG3 said to all the people that are saying that, and he brought up his situation, which changed his entire career.
It did. And I remember saying, why is that guy playing? It's just the first time he took a snap, he could barely run.
And that seemed like negligence by that organization,
Absolutely.
which, by the way,
100%.
not surprising.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Shocking development. No, do you remember watching that? I remember watching that game. What? Yeah. I'm like, why the hell is he out here?
Yeah, it ruined his entire career.
Yeah, you could see right away. Like they saw this in practice and thought he could play a football game.
Yeah,
like it was bizarre. I remember saying, this is bizarre. And then, like, I don't know how many plays in, it was done.
Yeah.
Yeah. His knee is unstable. Like, end of story. He's got $350 million on the line. His knee is unstable. He's not going to play.
Yeah, I think and it's a lot of, for lack of a better term, old heads that are kind of coming out here and saying, like, it's the playoffs, man. You got to play. And it's like,
no.
I know things were like that back in the day, but now with all the information we have on these injuries and the money that these guys are making, I hate everything that comes back to money, but it is.
And again, it does matter, like, the severity of the sprain and where he is, and nobody knows that but Lamar and the team. But let's just say this. Let's just say that he took the deal in the beginning, which I think was a fair deal. He wanted more guaranteed money. I get it. But had he had an agent, I think that deal would have gotten done. And I don't think, because first of all, his agent wouldn't have let him play this year before the deal. Some type of deal would be done. And if the deal was done and he had the guaranteed money, then it might be a different story. Honestly, none of that should have anything to do with it. It should just come down to the player's health. But the fact of the matter, he doesn't have a contract and is not guaranteed. There's no way he can go out there and play. There's no way with an unstable knee. No. You want him to play, give him the money. And that's another thing. I mean, he's probably sitting there going, hey, listen, if you want me to risk my knee, give me the guaranteed money. And the Ravens are probably saying, yeah, we're not going to do that.
Yeah, and the Ravens.
And I understand it from their standpoint too.
But the Ravens are one of those organizations that I think are run. I mean, I called it archaic a little bit. Like, they just paid Roquan Smith, and I know he's a really good linebacker. But, like, for example, they just paid Roquan Smith $20 million a year. He's an off-ball linebacker.
Right.
$20 million a year you're going to tie up to Roquan Smith. That's the guys, though, that they pay. They pay everybody on defense.
That's the DNA of the organization.
That's the DNA of the organization.
And that's what Rex
it always
Ryan
has
was saying is like this, because obviously he coached there. He knows the DNA of this organization is that they're not going to pay a big-time quarterback. They won with Joe Flacco, right? And they won with Trent Dilfer.
The game has changed so much, though, in 10 years.
And then what did they do?
Years.
They paid Flacco a ridiculous amount of money to be horrible. Remember that? That contract backfired on them, and I think they got scars from that. I really do. Now, am I saying they shouldn't pay Lamar Jackson? I'll say this. If he wants $300 million guaranteed, that's a lot of money. That's a big risk. For $240 million. Yes, it's a big risk for a guy who plays the way that he plays and has been injured lately, by the way, in case we're not paying attention.
Here's the facts, though. And listen, everybody can say all they want about wins not being a quarterback stat. I think that's absolute horse. Lamar Jackson is 45-16. 45-16 since he came into the league as a starter. I think that's number one in the league.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. But here's the problem. I'm not paying you for that. Sorry.
What do you mean? I'm paying you to win games.
But I'm not paying you. But you're hurt. And you've been hurt the last 2 years because of the way you play is so reckless. Okay? And I think that and I'm not saying this is right, but I think the Ravens think, okay, we can win with Tyler Huntley.
No,
we can win with Tyler Huntley if we. I'm not saying it's right.
This team was awful at the end of the year when they had to go to Tyler Huntley.
I'm not here to defend Tyler Huntley. I'm telling you what they think. I'm telling you what they think is wrong. Right. But I mean, if you're going to pay a guy at Lamar Jackson $240 million guaranteed. Okay, so you're locking him up for the next 8-9 years. You're talking about $40 million a year. Okay, $40 million a year. So if he gets hurt, what do you got left? You have a hard time building the roster. Number one, you're going all in with a guy that may get injured.
Who's door number two?
It's not about how great he is.
What's door number two?
And how fantastic he is. And all that, it's almost a numbers game. It's like what? So I'm basically putting my entire franchise for the next 8 years on that left knee or right knee or whatever it is, and that's a hard thing to do, man.
Use the number. What number did you just use? 40 million?
Yeah.
Do I need to go down the list of quarterbacks who are making more than 40 million?
It's not about that though. I'm not saying that Lamar's not as good as these guys. That's not what This is about moving a franchise forward. It's your money. It's your money, $240 million guaranteed. That means you can't get out of the contract. No, you are paying him $40 million every single year, guaranteed. What if he can't answer the bell? Look how bad you are when he doesn't play.
What does that have to do with Lamar Jackson?
Well,
when he's in there, they're a Super Bowl They're a Super Bowl contender every year.
But he's one hit away from your entire franchise being a disaster.
Every quarterback's one hit. I can't think like that. I can't think that, because I have a running quarterback, I can't pay this guy. I can't do this anymore. I think we've evolved as a league. I think this is what's hard about,
and by the way, I wouldn't have guaranteed some of these other quarterbacks that much money. Because if you go and look at it, teams are winning with quarterbacks on their first contract. They're also winning with guys by the name of Tom Brady. They're also winning with guys like Matthew Stafford when you build up the roster around them.
Yeah.
Listen, you can't look at the Lamar and say he's not worth the money. He's worth the money. But the contract has to be a little bit more palatable. If you're going to have a guy that –
if you're giving him $40 million, though, let's just say the number was straight up $40 million. That's a bargain in today's market. That is a bargain.
If you can assure me he's going to play 17 games,
the issue is
I'd be more than happy to pay him that kind of money.
The issue, as I pointed out here on this show multiple times, is that Kyler Murray got $50 million. Deshaun Watson got that same money. Russell Wilson got that same money.
First of all,
and Lamar Jackson thinks he's better than all these guys.
The Kyler Murray deal is going to be a disaster.
I think they're all disasters of deals. And I know that as organizations, you can't go off of what other people's bad deals are. Right. But from a player's standpoint, that's always going to be what they go off of.
Yeah.
So I get why there's like a little bit of rip. But if I'm the Ravens, though, I just think he's so good. I just brought up the record when you have him in there. You're going to be contending for years and years, assuming this guy stays healthy, obviously, going forward. I just pay the freaking guy. I want to pay, and more than that, I want to pay good people.
Yeah.
I mean, you give $40 and $50 million to a quarterback. I'm not giving it to someone who's as immature as Kyler Murray.
No.
Clearly, I'm not giving it to Deshaun Watson. I'll give it to Lamar Jackson because I don't have to worry about Lamar Jackson when I give him that money.
Well, I would say this also. I would if I give him that money, there has to be, and this is the other conundrum about Lamar is you want to say, listen, you got to take it easy. You can't run as much as you.
That's
run.
fair.
But that's his game.
But here's
that's
the
why
thing.
he's valuable.
Everybody wants him
that's
to be.
That's why he's valuable.
Everybody wants him to be like a drop back passer and everything.
No, I don't. There could be a hybrid.
Yeah, but again, here's the
runs
counter to this.
So much and takes so many big hits. He's taken more hits than any quarterback in the league by far.
Because he hasn't learned how to slide still.
Right.
And he doesn't have the build of Josh Allen to take it.
Right.
I think that's a clear thing.
Right.
But for the people that want this offense to turn more to where they can keep him healthy and upright, it's like
you're taking away that's why
you
this
take
is
away
such
his
a
DNA,
conundrum.
and also who is he throwing to?
Yeah, that's the other thing.
Take Mark Andrews out of the equation. Who was the wide receiver one on that field last night? Was it James Proche? Sammy Watkins, who's been released by like 5 teams?
He should have caught that ball.
Yeah, he should have caught that ball.
Should have caught that ball.
But you know why he didn't catch the ball?
There.
You want to know why he didn't catch the ball? Because he's James Proche.
Exactly.
All respect to James Proche or Proche, I don't know.
Proche, I think it is. Listen, this is like a conundrum unlike anything I've ever seen in the NFL. And it's a tough one. I feel for both sides on this one. I really do. But this is something that the Buccaneers may have to deal with. Because if Brady leaves, like Rex Ryan said today, I think that they're going to franchise him and trade him. And they're going to look for 2 or 3 first-round draft picks. And you're going to have to guarantee this guy $45 million a year and give up 2 or 3 first-round picks. Are you ready to do that? I don't want to get into this talk today because we have all offseason to do it. But that's something that's going to be a thing. All right, let's talk about some of these other games. The Dolphins yesterday, oh, my God. That was a game that they could have, I don't want to say should have won, but they certainly could have won, and I didn't give them a chance in hell of winning that game. But I tell you what, Josh Allen has gotten loose with the football. Even some of his runs yesterday where he was carrying the football, I was like, man, what is he doing?
He was folding under pressure in that game.
Yeah.
When the Dolphins took no. He was folding. He was. When the Dolphins came all the way back and took the lead, that team was stunned. That stadium was stunned. He looked like he didn't know how to. It looked like if you remember his first playoff game.
That throw he made to Gabe.
Yeah, I know that. But I'm saying his first playoff game in 2019 against, I think it was Houston.
Yeah.
He looked completely lost. And I was like, oh, God.
That was a throwaway. He gave that game away. I remember watching that game going, how does he come back from this?
Yes.
How do you come back from
exactly.
that?
But he was giving me those vibes at one point because he was missing easy reads. He was, Miami's defense all of a sudden flipped a switch. They look like the 85. This Jalen Phillips, my goodness.
He can play.
Game wrecker.
Yeah, he missed a couple big tackles, though, too. He did.
He was a game wrecker, though, for large parts of that game. Chubb got in there on a few plays.
Yep. Chubb got a strip sack.
So they had him stunned. But, Josh Allen is such a great player. That team has so many, talented guys. There's good coaching. And they made the plays when they needed to. But Miami, to your point, this is one of my reasons. I was watching all these playoff games, and I'm like, this is why you almost have to throw out everything you saw in the regular season.
Right.
Because it's the playoffs. You just they were down 17-0. 17-0, and then we're winning the game 8 minutes later.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
That's the play. With Skylar Thompson at quarterback.
On
the road.
Yeah. That's the thing is like, again, you want to guarantee these guys all this money and look at San Francisco, how much they pay in their quarterback. You can win. You don't, I don't, it's these days you can win games certainly with guys that aren't Lamar Jackson if you have a great roster. And this is the great conundrum in the NFL right now. What do? Do you spend all this money on a quarterback, or do you you build your roster and let Brock Purdy distribute the football?
Well, hold up though. The only example though where that truly works is San Francisco.
Right.
Because
hard to do.
I'll argue this.
It's hard to do.
Who's going to be the quarterbacks that are in the AFC title game for the next 10 years? Mahomes, Burrow, and Josh Allen.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
In the NFC, who was it last year? It was Stafford.
Yep.
Who came in and they went and paid him all that big money to get him there. The year prior was Brady and Rodgers.
That's right.
And the only team that's the outlier there is San Francisco in the last 3 years because it's San Francisco and they can do it. So I don't know. This is still a quarterback league. This is still a quarterback league.
Oh, it is. No question about it. No question about it.
But that being said, I thought Skylar Thompson, the reason why the Dolphins lost this game, I think his receiving core let him down big time in this game.
Big time.
He threw. Did you remember that pass he threw? He threw it in like triple coverage over the middle of the field to Mike Gesicki.
Oh, my God.
Everybody's like, what is he doing? But if you look at that throw.
It was perfect.
Oh, it's perfect.
It's perfect.
Mike Gesicki's got to catch the football. And then even on that last play.
Right to his hands.
Even on that last play.
Right to his hands.
Yeah, the last play where they needed the first down. The ball hit Gesicki right in his hands.
But also he had
I know that
Ty Hill.
I know he was draped, but you got to make
also
those plays.
He had Tyreek over the middle. If he hits him on the jump, he may still be running.
I heard what Tony Romo said about that.
Yeah.
That he's a touchdown, but there was a guy right in his face.
Yeah, he showed.
Still Skylar Thompson. I don't trust him that he's making that throw.
Right. That's a tough throw to ask.
It's a tough throw to ask that guy to make.
Yeah.
And I also thought Mike McDaniel had some bad moments too of in-game management.
Well, I don't know if it was Skylar Thompson not being able to get the play out in the huddle, or it was the play coming in late. But damn, it sure seemed like the play was coming in late all day long.
It did.
And then they have a 4th and 1 where it looked like it was a first down. And then they were told it. He says he was told it was a first down, but then they had to, and then they have to go. It's, you're calling a play for 1st and 10. You're looking on your play sheet now. It's you look up and it's now it's 4th and 1, and you're like, oh shiz, that's a totally different play, right? So that was a tough one. But they were out of timeouts because they'd wasted them all.
Yep.
On a lot of communication stuff. But they had a backup quarterback in there, a 3rd-string quarterback. So you kind of like, you got to give them a little bit of a pass. I thought in general they looked. I thought the Dolphins played about as good as they could possibly. Play. The Jacksonville game. Holy crap!
I told you it was going to be the game of the week.
Have you ever? Did you see the person that bet $1.4 million at halftime on in that game?
It was on the Chargers to win, right?
Yeah, Chargers to win. So it bet $1.4 million. So the take was $11,000. And this is one of the things I used to always say to myself, like if you have a lot of money like that, there are so many sure things that you can just make $10,000, $15,000, $20,000, $30,000 on. But like that, like you're down, nobody's coming back from that. Oh, wait a minute. and that guy lost that money, $1.4 million. He was putting it to make 11,000 and lost the money. $1.4 million. Like that's a wow. That's a wow. But anyway, Trevor Lawrence, holy shiz. And did you see the comebacks that they've had in the last month and a half?
Oh yeah.
They've done this every week. This is a sign of a team that it kind of feels a little bit like the Bucs. Like, their coaching is
fantastic.
It's bad in the beginning, or something's going on in the beginning, and then he just comes out and plays like freaking Dan Marino.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
What do you have? 4 interceptions in this game? He had 3 in the first quarter.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like
and they were bad.
They were really bad.
Horrendous picks.
It's like you almost throw out everything out the window in these playoff games. The turnover battle, the numbers coming in. I mean, would they have more turnovers than that? They had 5 total turnovers.
5 total turnovers.
They lost the turnovber margin 5-0. And won this game.
And I think I read a stat where it's been, I don't know, I'm thinking only one other playoff game in history where somebody was lost the turnover battle like that.
But that is such a good example of Trevor Lawrence, why he was drafted 1st overall, why he came in with this pedigree, why even though last year it was horrendous, you would never give up on this guy in a million years. You look at quarterback tiers in this league, we know what the 3 are. I'm ready to put Trevor Lawrence right there behind that big 3.
Already.
I'm already doing it. And I know that might be a hot take.
He's the same guy that threw those bad picks, though.
I don't care. This Jacksonville team has won 10 games this year. Probably had no business winning 10 games. They were 3-7. And this guy, if you look at the numbers, even before this game where he threw 4 picks, he was the best quarterback in the league the last 8-9 weeks of the season. This guy is a baller, man. He is a baller. Yeah. And I know everybody loves, again, I said this before this game, there is something off about Justin Herbert, and there's something off about the Chargers.
It's Staley. He's a nutball.
Is it?
It is. You think it's Herbert?
I'm not going to debate the fact that Staley looks a little in over his head.
He's completely over his skis.
I'm not debating that. I'm saying if any other quarterback in this league had a 27-0 lead in the second half against a 9-8 Jacksonville Jaguars team, and they lost that game, what would the narrative be?
We'd be killing them probably.
That's my point.
But the reason we're not is because we look at this coaching staff and we look at the roster of the Chargers and we go, dude, what are you doing?
Okay.
What are you doing?
Well, I understand that, but I just feel like the
First of all,
quarterback has so much that play in this game,
Exhibit
and
A.
he just escapes through all criticism.
But it's because when your coach is this bad, Exhibit A, he played all of the starters into the second half and got Mike Williams hurt.
Yeah, I know. That's lunacy.
That's lunacy.
It's a fireable offense.
The Bucs did the same thing, but they just didn't. People, well, Hainsey got hurt, but Hainsey had to play anyway. I mean, it's just dumb. And then all the fourth down stupid stuff. I'm all for, being aggressive, but last year he was ridiculously aggressive. And it cost his team time and time again. And and when you're making those overt mistakes out in public, imagine the stupid mistakes you're making behind the scenes. So to me, it's just, I look at the coaching staff. You can never lose that. You can manage your way to winning a game when you're up that much. It shouldn't matter. It shouldn't matter.
No,
and they just choked it away.
They just choked it away. And this is the Chargers every single year of my life. They are allergic to prosperity. They are a one and done. They are the epitome of one and done every year in the playoffs, no matter who. Look at the guys that they have on that roster.
Let me just ask you
it's
this.
crazy.
If Sean Payton decided to go there, how do you think the Chargers? I think the Chargers would be, even in the AFC.
You know what? I don't know.
They would be a top 4 or 5.
I don't know.
Vegas pick to win the Super Bowl.
I don't know actually.
In the AFC, or to come out of the AFC, I should say. I'm telling you.
I'm at the point with this franchise. No. I don't think you can do anything to it.
Well, they have always had ownership issues. Always. The Spanos family is a joke.
They are
an ownership group.
In many ways. They are the Falcons.
They still own it. The Spanos still own that thing.
I think they're the ones who took them over to LA and pissed off the entire fan base.
Just the stupidest people in the world. I know a friend of mine used to work for them many, many years ago, and he's just like, what a joke of an organization. They just run like a 7-Eleven. And then we got to talk about Danny Dimes. Holy moly.
Best performance of the weekend.
Daniel Jones passed for 301 yards, 2 touchdowns, and ran for 78 yards in his first playoff game as the Giants beat the Vikings 31-24 in Minnesota. It was like that kid we saw had his first start against the Buccaneers a couple of years ago, man. He can run. Ain't no doubt about it. That boy can run.
Vanilla Vic.
He can freaking run. And he's got an elite arm. And look what a little bit of coaching from Brian Daboll is doing for him.
Coaching matters.
That's why, so many times I see these quarterbacks just thrown under the bus. And I'm just like everybody was throwing Trevor Lawrence under the bus last year. I'm like, hold on a second. Oh, wait a second. Look at the joke of a coaching staff he's working with. Are you kidding me? Let's not bury this dude just yet. But look how different it is when you got guys, a professional coaching staff. Joe Judge. I mean, you're serious? And then you look where Mac Jones went this year under that tutelage. So no. It coaching freaking matters.
It does. And that stat line you brought up, by the way, that is like the first time a quarterback in playoff history has ever had that stat line. Has knocked all those things off. I think 300 yards, 2 touchdowns, and then over 100 rushing yards.
Yeah, first quarterback
first time
in
he's
NFL
ever
history.
done that.
Yeah, in a postseason game.
Hard to believe the first playoff victory for the Giants since the Super Bowl against the Patriots in 2012. First playoff win.
That playoff, you think about the NFL, playoff victories are hard for a lot of franchises, but this is for instance, the Bucs, 6 wins in our entire history until Brady got
Yeah, and what's more impressive about Brian Daboll, you know who the best receiver was the best playmaker on that field was for the Giants yesterday outside of Daniel Jones?
Saquon Barkley.
Oh, yeah, him. But I'll go receiving core. You know who it was?
Slayton, probably.
No, it was Isaiah Hodgins.
Oh my God, he had a huge
Isaiah Hodgins, who was a cast-off from Buffalo. You want to talk about coaching and it mattering? That guy, look at his game logs ever since the Giants picked him up off waivers from Buffalo.
Yeah.
I mean, that's more of a credit, I think, to Buffalo being so stacked that they had no room for this guy. But obviously, Daboll worked with him over there in Buffalo. I mean, Daboll to me is the coach of the year, and I don't think it's Frank. Doug Peterson's close. Don't get me wrong.
Doug Peterson,
but I think Daboll is the coach of the year. And Daniel Jones, I think, regardless of what happens next week, I think he just earned himself a contract.
I think he did too.
Not the franchise tag, the contract.
Yeah. Well, then again, I think teams are going to franchise quarterbacks when they can. So we'll see. And I, frankly, I'd want to see another year. I think Danny Dimes is a good player. I think he can be great, But if I have the ability to see another year, see, that's the whole thing. It's like it's either pay him $50 million, $50 million on a franchise tag, or guarantee him, because that's what every agent wants now. Oh, well, Deshaun got $240 guaranteed. He's your franchise guy. You can't.
I'd give him.
There are some guys that do not deserve that. Deshaun being one of them.
I'd give him 5 years, 175.
Yeah,
that's like $35 million a year. I'd go there. I wouldn't go over that, but I think that'd be a good point to
I
start.
think the franchises that can get away with that, like we have with Brady, paying your quarterback $25 million instead of $50 million, are in such better shape to win as a franchise. But it takes a special quarterback to be able to do that, in a special situation, a smart quarterback. This whole idea of if you're the franchise guy, you got to get $240 guaranteed. Nothing is there's nothing below that.
I'm just a believer in if it works, like take the talent out of the equation. If it works and you're winning games with the guy, maybe he's not the most talented dude in the world, but I still would want him. I think I've used that argument with Jimmy Garoppolo for years when everybody wanted to say, oh, well, if you put Herbert there, they would win the Super Bowl every year. I never thought of it that way.
Yeah.
I always feel like situations.
Good fits are good fits.
Good fits are good fits.
Yeah.
He fits there.
I
and so I think I kind of feel that way about Daniel Jones. It works.
Yeah. But it only worked. Like they need to. They're not going to win the Super Bowl. I don't think the Giants are. They need to upgrade.
No, they need more.
Yeah, they need more.
I love Isaiah Hodgins, but he's not a one in this league.
Right. Yeah, and so it's this moving forward, and don't forget this as well. The cap is going up dramatically.
Yes,
because they just doubled their revenue to this latest TV deal, which is the reason we have Thursday Night Football and Monday Night Football playoff games. They doubled their revenue, and that the players are by the CBA entitled to, I think, 51% of the revenue. So eventually that's going to hit the cap as these, incremental television revenue deals kick in each and every year. All right. And by the way, so the last thing we'll say about this weekend is the Bucs, if they win tonight, will go to San Francisco, if we haven't told you that already. So that's on a short week for them. All right, we'll take a break. We'll come back, and Brady Tinker's going to join us from DFW Sports, DSP Media in Dallas. We had him on last week, so we'll get an update on what's happening in Big D as far as the injuries there. There's some interesting things happening. So we'll see who's ready to go and how this Ryan Jensen playing information, breaking news affects the matchup. So we'll talk to Brady when we come back. We're brought to you by BAMMC.com, and Chris Lugo is going to join us here in our last segment to talk injuries. And the Jeeves Law Group, JEEVES lawgroup.com. If your car's been totaled and you didn't get what you think you should have gotten in a settlement, you probably have a case. Contact them at jeeveslawgroup.com and set up a free consultation. Back in 3. Was your car totaled in an accident? Did your insurance company use Kelley Blue Book or NADA to appraise the value of your car? Chances are they didn't, and you got shorted maybe thousands of dollars. Call the Jeeves Law Group for a free case evaluation because your insurance company may still owe you money. 727-894-2929. It's a free call, so why not find out if you have a case? Insurance companies have been running this scam for a while, and most folks don't know if they've been shorted. Trust me. Scott Jeeves is a different kind of attorney, the kind insurance companies hate to go up against. He could recover thousands of dollars, so why not call? 727-894-2929 or go to JeevesLawGroup.com. That's JEEVES lawgroup.com and tell them JP sent you.
JP here for Emerging Investigations, Tampa Bay's premier investigation agency. Do you suspect your spouse is cheating or involved in a divorce, that your spouse is hiding money, an ex-employee or current employee with suspicious behavior? Is there a criminal matter you need help with? If you need information you can count on, using the professionals at Emerging Investigations is a slam dunk. Emerging Investigations is a licensed and insured private investigation agency, family-owned. Emerging is your ideal resource to secure evidence and validation, allowing you to make informed decisions in life's biggest matters. Led by industry executive Brian D'Antonio, Emerging possesses the experience and resources to get needed results. Emerging Investigations maintains an excellent reputation as a premier investigation agency. They are known for results. You're not just hiring a PI, but an organized, dedicated team using state-of-the-art technology. Their proven investigative methods produce crucial information used in criminal cases, insurance fraud, and personal injury claims. Many local attorneys, industry agencies, and your concerned neighbors all count on Emerging Investigations. Just go to their website, emerginginv.com, or call 813-291-FACT. That's 813-291-FACT-3228. Get results you can trust in life's biggest matters. Emerging Investigations.
Well, it's that time of year to renew or shop your health insurance provider, and you can get great health insurance for $20, $30, $50 a month. Just call 888-325-0605 to help navigate the health insurance marketplace. 1 out of 3 people in Florida are uncovered because they think they can't afford it. Not true. I made the call a couple of years ago, and they helped me get Blue Cross Blue Shield coverage, Florida Blue, for just $20 a month. Last year, it went up to $49. Oh, well. It all depends on your income and your family situation. It's a free call, 888-325-0605. They will ask for some income information. So if you have your tax returns available, that will be great, but you don't need it. They'll just answer some simple questions, and the highly trained reps will do the work for you to find out what your subsidy will be. 888-325-0605. And if you have a plan through your employer, you may be able to get it cheaper. It's a free call, so find out, folks. This has been a lifesaver for me and saved me thousands of dollars over the last few years, and you can choose your plan. It's a no-brainer. Find out. Make the free call. 888-325-0605. Get covered like me and thousands of others. 888-325-0605.
Attention, if you are home shopping or looking for a refinance. $75.95, or email him at scott@amstampa.com. Now, even if you don't qualify for that program, Scott will shop your loan around, get you the best rates, and won't charge you the huge upfront fees. And if you've had issues with your bank calling you back, Scott will return calls immediately, or at least the same day. 813-294-7595, or email him, scott@amstampa.com. Scott Fitzgerald, MLS 386722, American Mortgage Services, 1000 North Ashland Drive, Suite 1020, Tampa, Florida.
Let's go.
Right now, back to the show with JP on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, as we are going to welcome in our good friend Sal Paolantonio, hot off the plane from Minnesota after watching the G-Men put it to Minnesota. What's up, Sal Pal? How are you, my friend?
Hey, it's game day in Tampa. I got to be on the JP show.
That's right, baby. Absolutely. We're so glad to have you here in this beautiful town. It'll only be 52 degrees tonight, so it's like a heat wave for you, right? That was an interesting game yesterday. The G-Men did what few thought they could do, but they went into Minnesota and got the win, and Danny Dimes solidifying himself as a New York legend after that win. What are your thoughts on that win by the G-Men?
Well, I thought he dominated the game from start to finish. Yeah. He was the leading rusher and the leading passer for the New York Giants in that game, his first playoff game on the road. He just proved to be a quick decision maker, extremely decisive. It didn't matter what the Vikings threw at him. And most of the time, he had them figured out. But bottom line is he's the best player on the field yesterday. And the Giants are for real. They're healthier on defense. Getting Adoree Jackson and Xavier McKinney back yesterday for the first time, I think, helped them to a certain degree.
Yeah.
And that really allowed them to prevail. It really was a one-score game, JP. These playoff games are coming down to quarterback play in the fourth quarter.
Yep.
And that means that's good. That's good news for you guys down there, because Tom Brady, there's nobody better in the fourth quarter ever in the history of the game than Tom Brady. I was thinking of dream scenarios. Yep. All of them involve the Cowboys losing tonight. dream scenario number one is that somehow, some way, Tom Brady finds his way back to Philadelphia and plays against the Eagles. And so we have Tom Brady in the NFC Championship game. By the way, if that happens, you got to come up and you got to go to my favorite Italian restaurant.
Absolutely.
And I'm gonna treat you to my favorite Italian restaurant.
Boom, I'm there.
So that's dream scenario number one. Dream scenario number two is Giants at Bucs. Son of Eli, Daniel Jones against Tom Brady against the new sombrero. At the new sombrero against the Bucs. I mean, that to me is dream scenario number two. I love both of those. What do you think?
I absolutely love it. I cannot wait. And let's get this win tonight if you're a Bucs fan. And I'm sure you heard the news that Ryan Jensen has been activated. And I don't know if that's out of desperation because of all the other injuries along the offensive line, or he's really ready to go and he's their best option. But we also hear that he's going to be starting tonight. I'm not sure if it's at center or left guard. My guess is it's probably at left guard and Hainsey starts at center. But whatever it is, Big Red is back. He's going to be playing tonight, I think. I think he's going to play a major role. And again, it'll be an emotional lift, but is this out of necessity and desperation? How do you think that affects this game?
Well, I really love Ryan Jensen. Yes. He's one of my favorite players in the league. I love watching him on tape. I've only met him once. I like watching him on TV. I think he's a tremendous leader. He's a fiery leader. Brady obviously adores him completely and has missed him totally. And I think he will definitely be a psychological lift to the team and to the stadium. No question about it. You know, he's not a rah-rah guy, as you know. He just shows up and fights hard. He's a gladiator. You got to love that about him.
Oh, absolutely. And the emotional lift is something that's hard to quantify. But more than anything, this team needs to find the running game. I just don't think it's you know, they've been doing it all year, coming back and winning these games against a lot of bad teams, by the way. This is a very good Dallas team, and Brady's kryptonite has always been pass rush. And here comes a team that's, 54 sacks, third best in the league, against an offensive line that's really, really banged up. As much as I want, love the narrative of Brady coming out there and lighting it up, this is going to be a major issue for the Buccaneers. So I think if they can run the football, it'll help them tremendously. What do you think?
Well, they got to get some more balance on offense. Yeah. You want to keep his pass attempts under 45. I mean, he loves to throw it, and right now he's clicking really well with Evans. And I think if you can keep it under 45, so if they have 66 plays, 67 plays, if they have 22 rushing attempts and 45 passing attempts, they'll probably win the game. You want to get it probably down to about 40, if you can. It depends on the score of the game and who scores first and all that. But to me, if I were Bowles, I'd take the ball if they got the coin flip. I would take the football and score, and then force Dallas to play from behind.
Yeah. Sal Paolantonio
joining. They're not going to do that. I can tell you that right now. They're definitely not going to do that, and I think that's a mistake. I think they can score on this Dallas team, and I think you've got to force the Dallas Cowboys and Kellen Moore to think twice about feeding it to Pollard and Elliott and Pollard and Elliott.
Yeah, that's the two things that worry me most is that the Dallas Cowboys can bully the Bucs up front and run the football and control the game, and then their pass rush. So, and that's what we say all the time, Sal, is that these games are won on the line of scrimmage, right? And I'm trying to look for, places where the Bucs have an advantage, and I just can't. I think that Dallas pass rush is suffocating. They were at 31% pressure rate on Brady in the first game, but he only had to throw it 27 times because the run game was working. They haven't been able to find that run game. So that's what really worries me as a Bucs fan. You're going to need a superhuman effort from Tom Brady, but you know what? We're used to seeing that. Right? That you just said it. These games are coming down to quarterback play, and at the end, give me Brady over Dak any day, right?
Well, that's what we've seen in these playoff games. It's
Right.
come down to the fourth quarter and quarterback play. Ravens last night for sure.
Terrible mistake.
You look at the game I was at. Kirk Cousins throws a 3-yard pass when it needs 8 in the fourth quarter to get a first down. I mean, over and over again. The only thing that kept the Dolphins in that game up in Buffalo was interception by Josh Allen and that bonehead fumble by Josh Allen. So it always comes down to fourth quarter quarterback play. You know, I always associate it with the NCAA basketball tournament, right? In the NCAA basketball tournament, you know this. It comes down to the point guard.
Yeah.
In the fourth, in the latter part of the second half, if the point guard can distribute the ball without turning it over and control the basketball down the stretch, because those teams are so good, the Final Four teams are so good. It's usually the team with the best point guard, the best ball handler, who handles the ball late in the game. And that's the same thing with these playoff teams and playoff games. Now everybody's equalized in most areas except the quarterback position and the play of the quarterback in the fourth quarter.
Right. Well, Sal, I mean, the few reporters, if any, have covered more Brady playoff games the way you have. You've seen it time and time again. So it's kind of a two-pronged question here. What is it about Brady that seems to be able to be in that moment and be so calm? And do you think, I mean, and history tells us that Dak is not that guy. He has not had the success that Brady has had. So those two men and the way they're playing right now late in the season kind of handicap that for me.
Well, I think you just did it for yourself.
Yeah.
I think in this particular matchup, it will be Brady's ability to get the ball out of his hands quickly. He's so good at option routes.
Yeah.
They're so good at setting up option routes. He's so good at, reading the defense pre-snap and then reading the defense post-snap and doing it instantaneously. Now, that comes from A, study, B, experience, and C, experience.
Yeah.
So, and he has it more than any other quarterback in the postseason. So pre-snap and post-snap, processing information and being decisive with the football, that is what separates Brady from everybody else, and including Dak Prescott, in my view.
All right, I won't. You're covering the game tonight. I won't ask you for a pick, but I'm
picking the Bucs. I would never in a million years, never in a million years. I've covered every one of Brady's Super Bowls, and like you said, nearly all of his playoff games. And I am picking the Bucs to win this game. I am. I think this will come down to the fourth quarter, and Brady will make a play.
Well, I'm embarrassed to tell you, Sal, that I picked the Cowboys because this offensive line concerns me, and I've seen with teams that can rush the passer.
Okay.
Teams that can rush
That's
the passer
all right.
are his kryptonite.
I respect you. I respect you, my brother, and I respect you picking. So here's what we'll do. All right. The winner of tonight's game, either Paolantonio or JP, will pick up the check at Ocean Prime, okay? When I come down to Tampa. How's that sound?
Absolutely done deal, and I hope you win it, brother. It'll be the happiest meal I've ever paid for in my life. Absolutely. I can't. And with Jensen coming back tonight, I want to see you on that field tonight after the game, interviewing Big Red. And have him say, all right, you guys are, they got to go to San Francisco, right? They got to go to San Francisco. So, and him going, can't wait. Can't wait. So we'll do it again. All right, partner. Thank you so much for jumping in here with us fresh off the plane. Sal Paolantonio. Thanks, buddy.
Yes, sir.
All right. The great Sal Paolantonio. I hope we're going to Ocean Prime to get a little steak and maybe some sea bass over there.
I think you're going to be paying for that meal.
I hope so.
And you know deep down you're going to be paying for that meal.
I hope so.
Because you're going against the GOAT. You always call him the GOAT, and you're going against him in round one.
I can't believe it. You do not bet against the GOAT.
No,
you do not bet.
But you're doing it though.
Yeah, because I don't think it's going to be up to him. If it was, I think you can't throw from your back. That's the problem. It's not, I don't doubt him one bit. I do not doubt him one bit. it's the, unfortunately, it's the guys around him that just have not been able to do the deal this year. And this offensive line is banged up worse than it's ever been all year long. Frankly, right?
It seems like it's as healthy as it's been since week 1.
Well, I guess you can look at it that way.
You
with
could definitely
Jensen
look at it
coming
that way.
back, but it's like, dude has not played in
No,
a
it's
year.
not just him. It's the fact that Donnie's had some time off now.
Yeah.
Tristan's had some time off.
Yeah.
Shaq's been pretty good all year long with the injuries.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's kind of like we're just kind of waiting on who's going to be playing left guard. I think Jensen ultimately is still going to play center. I guess we're just kind of waiting on left guard at this point. And if Gedeke ends up being the guy, he's healthy, quote unquote.
But he's bad.
But under no circumstance would I put him there. After giving it more thought, I can't do it.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's check in with Brady Tinker. And now that Sal Pal has said it's going to be, gosh, I feel like I'm the lone wolf here. Brady, how you doing, my friend? What's
up, guys? Good to see you. I was curious.
Live from Dallas. Thank you for being flexible. As Sal Pal jumped in here, we got all the big stars jumping in today. So
absolutely
being flexible.
Absolutely.
Now I picked the Cowboys on Friday.
Yeah.
Now Jensen is playing. So he's the first time he's going to be playing in a year, coming off a major knee injury.
Right.
I love the pixie dust and the Disney stories as much as everybody, but I see this Dallas front. It's one of the best pass rushing fronts in the game. That's Brady's kryptonite with this offensive line. I'm just struggling to find a way that the Bucs move the football. I'm
with you, and those are all things I went deep into on Off of the Helmets. Was like the Cowboys are having trouble really at offensive line with Tyron Smith, which you wouldn't automatically think, but he's basically never played the right side. So it's been dyslexia for him, right? To move, and the eyeball test says maybe he's not quite the powerful run through a wall, kill you with one punch guy that he has been.
Yeah.
So he's been just okay, doing it more on guile and strength. But so that's an issue on the right side. That's part of the reason Cowboys haven't run the ball very well in 2 or 3 weeks.
Right.
So if both these teams can't run the ball, right, then interestingly enough, what team can pick and choose? I still like Tom over Dak. The thing about Dak is you'll know early with Dak. I think Kellen Moore's got to do a really good job with him early of getting him some throws that he can make early and getting his feet underneath him. If you watch Dak, the Washington game, I don't put a whole lot of stock in it, but his brain was moving fast and he came off some receivers. And I've got a lot of video I've watched in the last 2 or 3 weeks where he came off receivers when he had time. Just stay there. He's about to come open.
Right.
And he'll walk into sacks. He feels a little pressure on this side. He'll just walk up into the left tackle's arms, So when his brain is slowed down a little bit, which is always the same thing, and it's exactly what you're saying, only you have Tom and we have Dak. Dak Prescott is essentially never really good unless the Cowboys run the football.
Right. And I see, that's the thing. I said this earlier, if they can run the football, I think they will be able to run the football because the bigger teams with good backs, we've seen it from Cleveland. We've seen it from some other teams at San Francisco. The big teams up front that have good backs have been able to run the football very successfully on the Buccaneers. The Panthers did it for 173 yards. And then they came here a couple weeks ago and just decided not to run the football. I don't know why.
Yeah.
So that's if you tell me right now that the Cowboys will run for 2.5 an attempt, Bucs win this game. No question about it. No question about it.
So the statistics that I was looking at, so I want to ask you guys, is if Vita Vea plays, and Hicks is obviously all the way back, statistically what I found was you guys who give up 122 a game only give up 88 a game when those two guys play. I'll probably buy that for as many weeks as they both had off, having pretty damn fresh legs and being strong enough to lift their cars over their heads.
Yeah.
So that worries me that the middle of your defensive line is kind of back to being don't come in here. Right. Now, can the Cowboys get on the edge with Pollard? I think that's probably the play, right? Can they stay away from the A gap and just get slightly to the edge with Pollard?
Mm-hmm.
When I was doing the show, I was like, I don't think we need 130 from the Cowboys. 90 might do it if it's effective runs by Pollard. If Pollard gashes a few times for 10 or 12, just enough to affect you guys, what I mean? Where you're like, shit, can all of us come up here, And
the Bucs have had a really hard time setting the edge, which Shoyanko's undersized. They just have not been, and teams have attacked that all year long. They run right at them and have great success on the coming up off tackle.
Yeah. So the Cowboys center is back. So everybody goes back to where they were. So that helps, right? The young rookie goes back to left tackle. McGovern goes to left guard. The center is back. That helps. The right guard is the best right guard maybe in the history of football, and then we'll figure out what Tyron's doing over there at right tackle. So that's about as good as they're going to be. We also have issues. The Cowboys also have issues at cornerback, as we know, right? So Jordan Lewis and Anthony Brown are out, and people undervalued both of those guys, but they're both 5- and 6-year veterans who are in the right place all the time, who don't make major mistakes.
Right.
And now, I mean, you've got a couple of guys coming in here to play. Nashawn Wright's going to have to play, and he has not played very much football. And then they tried Trayvon Mullen last week, but he's already been ruled out for an illness, I think. I haven't even really heard what that is, but he's ruled out with an illness that he's had 4 or 5 days. And so they're going to go with Xavier Rhodes, right? Formerly a really good player. Yep. But at 33 years old, Xavier Rhodes is on the backside. So Tom's going when you guys spread the Cowboys out with 5 wides or whatever, 5 receivers, he's just going to look over there and find those 2 guys and throw 7-yard routes all day until he does a double move and he sees if that works, which, you know,
it worked recently.
Yeah, it's worked recently. So those are the issues for the Cowboys. You guys got your same. The Cowboys are offensive line. How do they run the ball against the Bucs? And then secondary, Tom's just going to come up here and eyeball the shit out of those 2. You know.
And to your point, though, about the Bucs being able to stop the run, and they're 6-1 when they have Javea and Akeem Hicks this year. And I think there's obviously something to that. So I think as it is in the playoffs, we saw it this weekend, quarterback's going to have to win you a game.
Right.
And I'm looking at Dak, and I know I'm assuming that CeeDee Lamb and Carlton Davis are probably going to be shadowing each other. Carlton Davis has had a lot of success against the better receivers in the league. So my question is, I mean, do you think whether it's Noah Brown, T.Y. Hilton, Michael Gallup, it seems like they've had a lot of trouble getting those guys the ball, or they've had trouble getting open. What's your confidence level that one of those 3 guys or if a collection of them could get it done?
You know, I swear it's the damnedest thing. This game for me is a coin flip because of all this, because I don't have any confidence level in any of that. But the truth is, since Dak's been back, they score 34.5 points.
That's the thing.
And when he does get in a rhythm, which generally coincides with 2 things. 1, the Cowboys run the ball a little bit. And 2, the offensive coordinator, Kellen Moore, seems to get people moving around more, right? For the longest time. I mean, Des Bryant was never in motion for 15 years. And I got quiet feedback from people who said he would get confused. so we just stopped doing it. Okay, I guess I'll buy that. But then the same with CD. Early in the year, wasn't in motion much. And CD's got about a 27-inch waist. So if you want to put a good pop on CD at the line of scrimmage, if he's standing right in front of you, you can.
Yeah.
So he needs to be in motion. Well, in the last 8 games, since Dak, or whatever, 10 games, they put him in motion a lot more. He's been a lot harder to find. But I think you guys are just going to bracket him. I think there's going to be a good corner under him and a safety over the top of him. And they're going to say, we trust whatever it is Noah Brown's going to try to do.
Right.
And actually, the truth is, in that 4-game stretch early when Dak got hurt, Noah Brown was big catch after big catch, not necessarily 100-yard games, but it seemed like Noah Brown caught everything thrown to him. I think he's in his own head a little bit. Yeah. And in the last 2 or 3 games, there are some drops. There are some mistimed steps. All of a sudden, he looks like he's thinking rather than just playing. So T.Y. is probably the one who you guys think, 33 years old, hasn't hardly played any football. He's the one that we've seen here run really good routes. He's still faster than I thought he was going to be. And so he's the one that seems like maybe even if it's just 2 or 3 plays, that he could have an impact. And I don't know about Gallup, to be honest with you. Gallup had that knee injury. He's a hoss. But he's always been a bit of a slow recoverer, probably not very well said, but he's been slow coming back from injuries. He came back and he had a touchdown in his first game, and then he did nothing for like 4 or 5 games. But I look sometimes at Kellen Moore with how he calls plays, and I always think about basketball, you know, using the Mavericks, for example. When Jason Kidd was here or Steve Nash was here, Nowitzki did not run up and down the floor more than twice without getting himself a nice step-in jumper. Right. Same with Jason Terry, the Jet, right? Mm-hmm. The point guard gets shooters the ball. He knows about it, right? I don't know the timing of Gallup can go 2 quarters without getting a ball thrown his way. And he's not that kind of player, right? It's you know, so the offensive coordinator combined with a quarterback can be very good. And can be a lot of head scratchers who are like, well, that's 3 and out for the 3rd straight time. And I don't even know what the hell they just called or did. And all of a sudden, now this is the playoffs. So that's not going to work against really good teams. It's just not. Regular season, you might be able to sleepwalk through the 3rd quarter and still win. You won't be able to in this game.
That's
and then throw in Dak's penchant for turnovers this year, and it's a recipe for disaster. But I would not be surprised, and I'm not a homer for this team at all. I would not be surprised if this team hung 32 on you guys and won by 15 points. Because if they get going, all of a sudden you're like, damn. And then Parsons is flying around. He's a little bit more rested, right? Tank's a little bit more rested. So I honestly, it's a total coin flip. I wouldn't bet on this game for all the tea in China.
Oh, me neither. Interestingly enough, Sal Pal just used a point guard analogy as well. And then you're coming at me with that as well. And it's true. You got to distribute the football in this game. And the Bucs have some playmakers now. I'll be interested to see how they use Devin Tompkins tonight, who's suddenly given that little number 83. Give him a little bit of a different look in the run game and the pass game. So that'll be interesting. And then this Ryan Jensen is the big question mark here. And my question is for the Buccaneers, are they doing this out of desperation or because they really think he can add something tonight?
Well, is it Hainsey? Is that how you say it? Is he out or he's at least banged up, right?
He pulled a hamstring last week at Atlanta. They got him out of the game quickly, so I don't think it was a severe hamstring.
Yep.
But a hamstring's a hamstring, right? A week later, and we got Dr. Lugo coming on here next. Chris Lugo is going to talk about some of these injuries. And it's going to be cold tonight. Not crazy cold, 52 degrees, but it's not going to be 85 either. Yep. So you got him with a hamstring. You just don't. That's a week later. Just have no idea about that. I don't anyway. He's practiced in a limited fashion.
Yep.
So we're hearing Gedeke might start at left guard, which tells me, Jensen may be starting at center tonight. But again, to ask a guy who had a major knee injury to come back, he hasn't played football in a year, man.
Well, not to mention too, and I know you have, like I have, through my 23 years, probably my most enjoyable conversations for the most part in mass have been with offensive linemen. Right. They are strange, cool, they're clicky. And if you get with one who really trusts you, he will tell you, L. Collins and these guys used to tell me, it's a damn ballet what we're doing. And he's like, I know I'm a fat ballet guy, but it is a ballet. I know this one's going to drop step this at the perfect time and he's going to punch with his left. And I know this one's going to do this and this. So even though he's a veteran who's really been a very, very good player and one of Tom's favorites, how do you step right back into the ballet on opening night without having, hardly any rehearsal especially with a pretty good front four with the Cowboys? It's a pretty good front four right there. So they're going to be twisting a little bit. They'll send those safeties all that stuff that, that could be some problems for you guys. So I'm intrigued as hell. I'm just like, I wonder what I'm going to see. All the, Cowboys naysayers are like, we know what we're going to see. Tom's 7-0. We don't win these big games. This is what we do. We fold for 26 years. I love Mike McCarthy came out and said something. I'm paraphrasing because I don't have it in front of me. Basically saying, my players know, and I know, we have nothing to do with anything that happened in the last 26 years. The Romo era and before that with a myriad of quarterbacks aren't our fault, nor our problem, nor our ownership, nor any of it. We're just us. And we've won 12 games in back-to-back seasons, which has only happened like 3 times in the history of the Dallas Cowboys. Pretty damn good.
Yeah.
And this Cowboy team has a look of a team that next year, I'll just say next year, they're going to be the over and under is going to be 10, so I think they'll be a good team again. That hasn't happened around here in a while either. With Romo, it was almost always 14-6.
Yeah.
13-8, right? Because of injuries, because of whatever, right? And this team has a different look. On the other hand, as it pertains to this game, weakness at cornerback and weakness potentially in the run game spell potential disaster for a team as physical as yours with a quarterback you have. It just does.
Yeah, there's so many things, the warts that we pick out on our own teams, and then we forget that the other team has some warts as well. So that's why it is a toss-up game. I totally agree with you. And the funny thing about these numbers, these historic numbers, for instance, Brady 7-0 against the Cowboys. Well, he was also 2-18-0 in games he had a 7-point lead with 2 minutes to play. This Bucs team broke that streak.
Yeah.
He's also never had a losing season in his life. This Bucs team broke that streak.
This is also probably his last game as a Buck, and you probably know better than I do, right? But some of that factors in, right? Tom has had an emotional dumpster of a season, personally, and probably carries over into this. I'm shocked you guys went 8-9. Even more shocked that you won your division with it. So who knows? Really?
It is what this is one of those games. I mean, normally I get a good feel for, which way these games are going to go. And you're right. It's a complete coin flip. I have no idea because of injuries, because of, Dak playing poorly recently, the Cowboys stinker they laid out there last week. And it's so many factors in this game. It's going to be fascinating to watch, but
last week was, I sort of dismissed last week a little bit because as much as it was an impossible situation, I thought it was a terrible break that the Eagles didn't win in week 17 and finish the division. If that could have happened, Micah Parsons, who I gave you that number, I don't know if you used it last weekend.
Yes.
Parsons played 167 more plays than Nick Bosa. Well, no wonder he's tired. I don't care how young he is. Plus, he weighs about 235. So he's standing over a defensive end, way too many plays a year, right there where he's going to get seen and getting chipped. So he's going up against 350 and a chip of a tight end or a running back. No wonder he's tired. Can't remember where I was going with the rest of it.
Well, that's Mike. He's at 1.5. You also told me he's had 1.5 sacks in the last 6 games. And, that's a guy that's, as you said, went from 240 to about 230 and is getting beat up. But playoffs are a different thing, right? They bring out a lot more energy and I expect to see his best physically. So
this is going to be a big coaching game for the Cowboys, and I imagine for you too, right? So the defense hasn't been quite as good either, not just because of the cornerbacks, but all of a sudden they're not getting much pressure in the last 3 or 4 games, right? Which you can relate back to Micah's playing too many plays. Something Dan Quinn said he wasn't going to do in his rookie year. He's like, I'm not lining him up over a tackle where they can find him all day long because then he only plays 40 plays. I want him to play 58 plays and be a walk around guy where they have to find him all the time, right? And every once in a while he drops, and every once in a while, that's what they did last year.
Yeah.
This year, the more desperate they got for pressure against the passer, the more they just stood him over the left tackle.
Yeah.
Giving up 100 pounds.
We shall see. We shall see, my friend. All right, Brady, appreciate your time as always.
Yeah, buddy.
And, we'll talk later on this week. We'll see what happens. Certainly.
Good. Looking forward to it. Good to see you both.
We'll see. We'll see what happens tonight. It's going to be fun. All right, we're going to take a quick break. Chris Lugo is going to join us from Bay Area Modern Medical Center, and we're going to talk about Ryan Jensen. This is historic stuff, folks. This is historic stuff in the medical field more than anything else. A guy coming back from a major knee injury without surgery. And also Robert Hainsey. There's a lot of injury stuff to talk about with Chris Lugo from Bay Area Modern Medical Center. We'll do it next. Quick break. Stay with us.
JP here for Italiano Insurance. If you've started a side hustle during COVID and the business has grown, well, you need business insurance because if you get sued, you could lose all your personal wealth if you're not properly protected. That's right. Your home, your savings, everything could go. So get protected now. Call the great agents at Italiano Insurance, 813-877-7799, and a real human will answer the phone and get you protected. If you haven't shopped your business insurance in a while, you could be overpaying by thousands. One customer had their golf buddy handling his business insurance, then called Italiano to shop it around, and they saved him $26,000 a year. Yeah. So call 813-877-7799 or go to ItalianoInsurance.com. Italiano Insurance, protecting all the pieces of your life for over 60 years. Attention, if you are home shopping or looking for a refinance, and even if you already have the approval letter, you must call my man Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services. Scott has a brand new program available in the greater Tampa Bay area called the Community Advantage Loan Program. Get this, no money down, no mortgage insurance, no points, no origination fee, purchase or refinance, and loan amounts up to $647,000. Now, there are some application requirements. It must be a single-family home, 1 unit, primary residence, and have a minimum 640 credit score. The program only applies to certain neighborhoods, so you have to call to find out if you qualify. So call Scott Fitzgerald at 813-294-7595 or email him at scott@amstampa.com. Now, even if you don't qualify for that program, Scott will shop your loan around, get you the best rates, and won't charge you the huge upfront fees. And if you've had issues with your bank calling you back, Scott will return calls immediately or at least the same day. 813-294-7595 or email him, scott@amstampa.com. Scott Fitzgerald, MLS 386722, American Mortgage Services, 1000 North Ashley Drive, Suite 1020, Tampa, Florida.
Hey, folks, it's still engagement season, and where better to get that special ring than the Gold and Diamond Source? The Gold and Diamond Source has the largest selection of engagement rings in the country, a literal jewelry supercenter with 30 times the inventory of any normal jeweler. You don't have to wait to spend any extra time waiting for them to bring something in. They have everything right there in-house, so why go anywhere else? And you can get up to 15% off this January if you buy something with the birthstone, which is garnet. Garnet and gold, Florida State, get something for your favorite Seminole. And let's not forget the Emily collection from Emily Johnson Weintraub. Very affordable, real gold and diamond jewelry, always stylish and unique. Emily has created this fashion-forward gold, diamond, and gemstone jewelry line ideal for everyday wear. Each piece is designed to enhance your look by featuring eye-catching, modern, geometrical shapes. Really unique stuff. Got to check it out. And, of course, Julie and Steve Weintraub, great benefactors here in the local community. So let's keep it local. And you can get 0% financing for up to 5 years. Get a big ring for a little price. It's the Golden Diamond Source, 3800 Overton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's rock. This is FanStream Sports with JP.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by the Jeeves Law Group, JEEVES lawgroup.com. If you're in an accident or you have any legal issues whatsoever, make sure you give them a call over there at the Jeeves lawgroup.com. And, of course, one of our other great sponsors, Bay Area Modern Medical Center, Chris Lugo, joins us. And, well, Chris, this is some interesting stuff I wanted to get your take on. Thank you very much for joining us. Hope you had
Thanks
a great
for having me, guys. Appreciate it.
I know you're a big Bucs fan. You excited
Born and raised here.
Excited for this game tonight? This is an all-timer, man.
It's going to be an interesting game. At least to say that. Okay.
Well, with Brady, I mean, first of all, as a Bucs fan, having Brady here, hopefully it lasts longer. We don't know, but we know this. Tonight he will be in a primetime game against the Dallas freaking Cowboys in our stadium. So,
well, tell me this: has it ever a less than 500 team hosted a playoff game before?
Yeah, it's happened a couple times before because a division winner, you get a home playoff game.
Correct.
So I think, was it Seattle that hosted?
Yeah, Seattle got a home playoff game and won that game.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Against the Saints, I believe it was.
The Commander, when the Bucs played the Commanders 2 years ago, they were under 500 and they hosted.
So,
okay. That was the first.
And I think 2 out of 3 or 4 previous games or 3 previous games. This is the 4th time. 2 out of 3 times the under 500 team has won. So,
Okay.
And we got that guy named Tom Brady. So it's always he's always an equalizer when it comes to a lot of different things. So I got to get your take on this. So I've been told by someone close to Ryan Jensen that they've been using stem cells, no surgery for him, and he's had major ligament tears, multiple ligament tears. That's been reported as well. So as far as I know, this is the first sports injury we've ever heard of where they're using this to heal the injury and bring him back in 1 year. Now, much of this is speculation. I'm asking you to speculate as well. You haven't examined Ryan, but if that's, what's going on with stem cells, obviously. So if that were to happen tonight and he's going to play, it looks like this is a major milestone, is it not?
Who is his favorite offensive player?
Tom Brady.
Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Where did Tom Brady go in the off-season 21-22 season? He went to Costa Rica.
Yes.
He came back that following season without a knee brace. Is that correct?
That is true. That is absolutely 100% true.
That's kind of interesting, right? Interesting.
It is. And he played through. He played through an injury.
Played through almost half the season and then went back to the brace after getting hit. But I guarantee at 40 some odd years old that Tom is right now, he is living through modern chemistry. I guarantee he's doing stem cells himself. We know he's got bad knees. He's had bad knees for years.
Yeah.
He is also, so I'm sure someone got in his ear and told Jensen what to do, gave him some protocols. He probably made a trip down to Colombia, Costa Rica, Panama, one of those Central American countries, and got some mesenchymal stem cells. I guarantee it.
So those are not available here in the United States? Is that the issue? Obviously,
FDA frowns upon mesenchymal stem cells. So you've got stem cells. Nick's got stem cells. I got stem cells. Most people here in the United States will harvest them out of fat.
Yeah.
Doing a liposuction, or go to the iliac crest in the hip, suck them out of the bone marrow there. But they're JP Peterson stem cells, they're Nagetta's stem cells, they're Chris Lugo stem cells. They're older, they're a little beat up. versus using umbilical stem cells
Mm-hmm.
coming from fetus. They're a little bit younger, a little bit more fresher.
Yeah.
But in those stem cells, you want to find the golden children. The golden children are called mesenchymal stem cells. Okay. You take those golden children and then you proliferate them, put them on a petri dish, and then you grow them. Tens, hundreds of millions of stem cells. And then that's what you inject back in. So same thing with umbilical stem cells. They find those mesenchymal stem cells, the golden children, proliferate them, inject them back. And those are the ones who have the best ability to do what they need to do.
Yeah, I had my knees done with my own stem cells, just as you described, about 5 years ago. And I'm going to tell you, it took me from couldn't bend down to read a putt to back to, playing tennis, basketball, everything. And it only took about a month really for it to really start feeling it.
That's pretty quick.
And I also had an MCL tear that I treated with it. And within a week or so, the pain was gone. Within 2 or 3 weeks, I was doing everything I was before with no pain.
Correct.
So I'm a living, breathing endorsement of how this works. And that's with my own crappy stem cells, as you pointed out.
Correct, yeah.
Embryonic stem cells are amazing. So
you got it. And these differ from PRP. People are doing PRP for all sorts of stuff, like platelet-rich plasma.
Right.
That's different. There's only a couple hundred stem cells in that. It's the poor man's version.
Right.
Okay? But I got about a half a dozen patients who I take down to Colombia, and we go get stem cells down there, 150 to 250 million stem cells with an infusion.
And what kind of results are you seeing with that?
Depends on the ailment. These ailments, most of my patients are doing it for anti-aging reasons. We're not doing it because of neuro disorder. We're not doing it for an injury. We're doing it just for anti-aging alone. And basically, you're doing it once a year. You're doing a maintenance thing of once a year to go on down there.
So interesting. Have you heard of any stories of this working for athletic injuries? I know they're being treated with this. I'm hearing a lot of orthopedics are doing the general surgeries and then adding the stem cells to it, right?
Yeah, but you got to remember, the ones that we're doing here in the United States are not the same that we're just talking about.
Right.
So Australia, Professor Freitag or Dr. Freitag down in Australia, he did a study back in 2019, published the data on osteoarthritis in knees. Since then, University of Sydney is now doing, or actually Australia is doing this huge study right now down there. They're enrolling patients in their study. It's a 2-year study going on. It's called their Sculptor study, where it's only for knees. So that's going to be some interesting information once that data gets published too, to see what comes out of that.
So we haven't had a situation where somebody's done what Jensen is trying to do.
No, but you know people, I know people, I guarantee in professional sports right now, NBA, MLB, they're all doing it right now. There's no one's talking about it.
Right.
The way Jensen's talking about it is
he's not talking publicly about it. He's not talking publicly about it. So that's, but it makes sense. This is what he would do, right? If you're not going to have surgery.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. Growth hormone, mesenchymal stem cells, you name it, they're going to run it. Better living through modern chemistry.
And obviously, there's protocols in the NFL what you can and cannot use, and I don't know what that is. I know,
I don't think it's in there.
Yeah, I don't. And growth hormone might be. I don't know if you're allowed to use growth hormone, but that might be.
Who's testing Jensen right now?
Yeah, I don't know. It's just again, this is all speculation, but it all makes sense of if you're a professional athlete, these things are open to you. Why would you not do that, right?
Correct. Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see how it goes tonight. That'll be interesting. And Robert Hainsey has a hamstring injury. We don't know. They got him out of the game quickly in Atlanta. I saw the play. He got up and he was able to walk off on his own. But he's practicing a limited way tonight. What can you expect to get out of him?
I would say, hamstring injuries are really nasty, right? Because they can come back and haunt you really quickly. So when you think you're 100%, you start going full bore again. And next thing you know, now you're tearing that muscle. Yeah. Now you're taking 5 steps backwards. So I would take it really ginger. I don't think he's going to be 100%.
Yeah, for coming back that quickly. All right, my friend, great stuff. Thanks for hopping on with us and talking.
Hey, no worries. I appreciate the input.
It's really, really interesting stuff. So, and this will all come out as it happens. And hopefully, it's a great story. And he comes out and he plays great tonight. And it's a great story to talk about. So
Joe Rogan's been touting about stem cells on his podcast for years too. He did it for his shoulders. He didn't want shoulder surgery, so it's out there. If you're interested, let me know. But yeah, there are places out there who will do it.
Yeah. So if you are interested in stem cells, Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. Go to the website, give them a call, and we'll just throw your number out there real quick since you're on.
844-789-BAM, BAMM, which is 2266.
All right, Chris, enjoy the game tonight, my friend.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Have a great day.
All right, you too. Chris Lugo from Bay Area Modern Medical Center there. Going down to Costa Rica and Colombia. Yeah, because I'm not sure you can get he just said it. You can't get those here in the United States, which is kind of crazy. But this is going to be a very, very interesting story to follow. No doubt about it. All right, partner. I'm kind of waffling now. I feel horrible.
That was my next question. I'm like, after everything we've talked about today, Jensen being back, you heard Sal Pal disagree with you. How are you going to go against Sal Pal, right?
You can't do it. Can I just use the Jensen coming back as an excuse to
But here's the
change my
thing,
pick?
though. Here's the thing, though. If the Bucs then go out and lose,
I can't say
you
I
can't
told
come
you.
back. I told you so. And I know you love the "I told you so."
Oh, I'm the king of the I
You
told
live
you
for
so.
the "I told you
Yeah,
so."
because I'm
so
right so often.
So you have to deal with that tomorrow.
I will have to deal with it tomorrow.
I told you though. Once you get closer to kickoff and everything, there was always going to be that buzz. You're going to be at the game tonight, right?
Yeah.
And you're going to walk in and you're going to feel it.
Yeah.
The end zones are going to be painted red. Okay, the Bucs aren't losing with red painted end zones. I got news for you. It ain't happening.
Why does that figure into it?
Listen, that matters. That matters. The red painted end zone, the white on pewter, the flags, they're not losing tonight.
Oh God. I can't find it. All right, I'll pick the Bucs. Not that I care. Anybody cares or they even care. But I just, the Jensen thing it's a big deal. But so much of this, I need to know, how healthy are you? Can you really go? And I think
It sounds like he passed every hurdle.
Yeah.
Every hurdle he needed, he passed.
Yeah, but his wind, is he able to go 65? Is not going to he's going to be subbed out for this game. So let's go, Bucs. Let's do this tonight. Let's make this happen. It's it may be Brady's last night in the Bucs uniform. So let's here in Raymond James Stadium. So let's go have some fun and do it. All right. Our thanks to Sal Paolantonio who joined us today. Chris Lugo. That was really interesting stuff. I hope you enjoyed that. And if you need some stem cells, Chris Lugo is able to help you with PRP or any of that stuff. That if you're interested, go to Bay Area Modern Medical Center and join the trip down to Columbia. And of course, I thank Brady Tinker for joining us as well. All right, it's coming up tonight. By the way, I forgot to say this. Day game for the Lightning. They'll be dropping the puck at 4:00 local time here as the Martin Luther King Day. So happy Martin Luther King Day for everybody. Yes, let's judge everybody on the content of their character, not the color of their skin. Right? What a great thought by Martin Luther King. The good Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Fantastic man. So let's celebrate that with a couple of local wins here today. That will be fun. Go Bolts and go Bucs. So we'll talk to you tomorrow.